各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Good morning, everyone.
对，今天到了我们这个班圆满的日子来了啊！哎，我相信大家都是多多少少都是有收益的啊，尤其是在
Hello, Grandmaster. Our class has come to an end today. I believe everyone has gained something.
让我们就会更加有了深刻的印象啊。
Reviewing the Earth Store Sutra has given us a deeper impression. We have also learned a lot of valuable knowledge that we didn't have the chance to learn before. We may not know many things that we don't learn in this classic sutra. Why are we so unlucky? Why do we get sick? Why are things not going smoothly? Why are our children not doing well? There are many things we simply can't understand and we can't find the source. And now we're beginning to find it. Today's topic is called the way to liberation. What is the way? It is explained in the sutra, but I don't know either. We will listen to the following stories to find out more. The stories might be bizarre and extraordinary. We have emails from all over the world. Their stories are interesting, scary, bizarre, and not to be missed. We will have fun. Who wants to go first? Okay, Jezhen will go first. Here comes the amazing story. The first story from our online viewer is called Roasting a Whole Lamb. Here is the story. From the 7th lunar month of this year, I had 3 dreams. I wished for Grandmaster's guidance. The first dream was about my deceased father. In the dream, he was cremated in a place that looks like a whole lamb roasting pit. Someone told me that the 5 relics are created from burning. The relics were crystal clear. They were placed in a bowl. Suddenly, my father, who was being cremated, got up and wanted to heal me. He grabbed my chest and pressed so hard that I couldn't breathe. When I woke up, upon waking up from the dream, I do merits for my parents. 2 days later, I dream of my father again. My father said to me, he was sleeping in bed. You are still running a fever and you are still sick. He covered me with a blanket and then I woke up. Upon waking up from the dream, I continued to do merits for my father and my mother. On the 14th day of the 7th month of the lunar calendar, I dreamt of my father again. In the dream, many people were locked up in a large courtyard. Many people were looking for my father, and there's this person wearing a coat that kept shouting, "Oh Zhang, the gate is open, we can leave now." My father was hiding in a cave with a Buddha statue. He hid behind a yellow silk curtain. The cave was not so clean. My father left the cave. In the dream, my father was with Grandmaster. It felt like Grandmaster was releasing his soul. My father and Grandmaster walked towards the steps of the mountain and arrived at the mountain top. My father was chanting the whole time. Grandmaster said, "You are chanting well." They encountered someone on the road. It is a middle-aged woman carrying a shoulder pole. Grandmaster lets her join them. The middle-aged woman looks very happy and surprised, so she followed them. When they arrived at the mountain top, it was flat, like a large square. There was red and yellow sunlight in the sky. My father had a stack of money in his hand. He looked very happy. And then I woke up from the dream. Let me introduce some background stories. At the end of last December, I underwent an early gastric cancer surgery. After the surgery, I have been practicing with Grandmaster. I have benefited a lot. My recovery is good. I wish to know the meaning of my dreams. I wish to know what happened. Just to add the information, both of my parents have passed away. Was the middle-aged woman carrying the shoulder pole my mother? Thank you, Master. She had 3 dreams. The first one is quite scary. She had a dream that her father was being cremated, like a lamb being roasted. This is so bizarre.
这个好离奇。
好离奇。
那从直觉上来说
Intuitively,
昆提，你觉
Kunti,
得
do you
这是好
think
事
this
还
is
是
a good
坏
thing
事？
or a bad
感
thing?
觉不好。
It doesn't feel good.
烤全羊的炉子里像是
Being
在
burned
地
like
狱
that,
里
it
的
seems like
炉
some
被烤
kind
好
of
了
punishment
被
in
烤
hell.
的。
对呀。
记得什么烧脚地
Being
狱、
burned.
烧手地狱吗？
Remember the
是
hell
不是
of
啊？
burning
这
hands
来了
and
个烧
burning
身
feet?
体啊，
And now
全
there is a
烤
burning
烤全
body,
羊，
a
就是把这
roasted or
羊
burnt
杀了之
lamb.
后架在火上的烤。
That doesn't sound like an
这对一个
auspicious
人来
thing.
说，这不是个吉祥的事。
That's so
真的太
painful.
痛苦了。
先生说这是他最
So,
初
the
的，
first dream,
对，
就说明往生的
we
父
can
亲
assume her deceased
还在那
father
边
is suffering over
我
there.
我们不能乱猜，我觉得大概是这样子哈。
至少是有很大的可能吧。
对，
对。然后呢，
是。
这个
And
就
then the
还挺
interesting
神奇，
part,
就是不是在那儿烤吗？可是父亲又起身
her father stood up and pressed her shoulder to heal her.
对，
摁着他的胸口，摁
对
得他都哎呦都喘不过气来，都
对
醒了，惊醒了。
但是父亲就是不
So that
管
means
他
that
在
no
天也
matter
好，在地也
where the
好，在
father
地狱
is,
也好哈，
his
这
love
个通常
for
父
her
母亲
child
爱我们的
never
心就永远
changes.
改变不了。
对，挂念啊。
哪怕你有点什么错，你
That's
只要
how parents
是吧
are.
稍微忏悔一下，
Even if you did
表示
something
一
wrong,
下自己的错误，那父母亲爱
they will
你爱
forgive you if you
爱你
admit
没
it.
没说的啊。
对，
这个时
Parents
候
love
父
their
亲说给他
children
治
very
病，
much.
按着他的胸，
So
让他喘不
her
过气
father
来。
pressed her
我们
chest
只
to
能
heal
说
her.
这位着啥
What's
来
this
着？
online viewer's name again?
彩玉哈。
Cai
那
Yu.
彩玉呢，就是你
Cai
的
Yu has an
身
illness
体，
near
就
her
是
chest
胸部或
area.
靠近胸部的地方可能有病，父亲才会压过来。
对，彩玉也说了嘛。
Cai Yu mentioned that last December,
哦，
she
还注意
underwent an
哦
early stage
做了
gastric
胃癌是
cancer
吧？胃癌
resection
切除手
surgery.
术。
是的，
哎，你看靠近
就在
胸部，
胸口这
See,
儿嘛。
it's
就是
near her
胸口这
chest
儿
area, right?
对，
Yes.
所以呢，这个时候就是有病。
So she was sick.
梦见父亲说有病，还来
还想
给你治病。
帮他
Her
治。
father wants to
对
heal her.
对，就是说还给他盖被子，
对，第二
就说明
个梦是给他盖被子。
这叫
Oh,
呵
and the
护
second dream, he was covering her with a
呵
blanket.
护他。
哦，
对，
对，
甚至是如果往更深里去引
If
发
it's
的话，还有
implicated
一种叫
deeply,
功德被。
the blanket
哦，那
could
好
mean
啊，那把
merits.
功德给到他呢，
Her father
这个
was
地
giving
方
her
就是希
merits.
望是说，父
Her
亲是说
father wishes to
我要保
protect
护
her
你一辈子，
forever.
是吧？希
哦，
望你一辈子如意吉祥。
Her father wishes her
其实
all
是
the
我觉得
best.
父亲的一片苦心。
That's so
好
touching.
感
是吧
动哦，对，
你说你老大不小了，
Her
父亲还
father
给你
still
一辈子
tucks her
盖被
in,
子，
是
no
这
matter
种
how
爱
grown
是
up she
真
is.
没有人可以代替。
This kind of
而且由
love
父亲
is
都走了那么两
irreplaceable.
格哈，还回到梦中
Death
来
has
过
done
人家在
them
那儿还受
apart,
着罪，
but
是
he
的
still
另一
comes
个
to
灵
her
魂还
dream
惦
and
记
is
你
worried
真
about
的
her.
就是
对
这意思。
好感动，
嗯
It's so
那他自己也
touching.
是很孝顺，他每
Cai
天
Yu is
给
also a
后人
very
两个
filial
都是
person.
接连给父母做
She has 2 dreams
对
in a
他梦
row
醒了，白天
and
马上就
continuously
给
perform
Cai Yu
merits
是个
for
孝
her
顺人。
parents.
对，给往生的父母
Cai
亲
Yu
就做
is a
功德
very
对，
filial
所以他的
person,
爸爸那么爱他，也是
嗯，
没有白
and she
疼爱的。
performed merits for her
爸爸其
deceased
实
parents.
哪怕
So
往
her
生
father
之后
loves
对
her
他
so
爱一
much,
分都没减
and
少，
it's not in
真
vain.
好。
The
我们感
father's
动。
love for his daughter never
做了
diminishes.
就是2次功德之后呢，农历7月
It's
14
so
号
touching.
做功德
So
了，
after
对
performing merits for 2
到了农
times,
历7月14
on the
14了
14th day of the 7th month of the
在这
lunar
15号
calendar,
就是这个盂兰盆
对
which is the
正
Ulabana
对
festival,
14号的晚上
嗯，
梦中父亲
that
又
night she
起床
dreamt of her father
这个
again.
梦就很详细了
And
哈
this time the dream was
对
very
先是说
detailed.
很多人
哦，
很多人被关
First,
在一个
it said
大
that
院
many
子里
people
Yeah.
were locked in a large
哦
courtyard,
还有人喊老张大门开
and they were
了
looking
看
for
大
her
一个人喊
father.
老张走了
A
走了，
person shouted, Lao
开了
Zhang,
走了
the door is
那是什么
open.
门啊？
对
是吧
是不是
You can leave
是不是
now.
地狱之门
So what kind
我
of
们
door is
传
that?
说中的哈
Is it the gate to hell?
大慈大悲的
There is a
地藏
legend
王
about
菩
the
萨
great
啊
compassionate
哎
Earth
为了
Store
每一年
Bodhisattva.
去救度一整
He
批
will
的
rescue a
有
group
缘
of
众
sentient
生
beings
尤
every
其是
year,
进入恶鬼道，
especially
地狱
those
道
who went
对
into
他
hell.
这时候用他那个
He will use his
就强
powerful
大无比
staff
的，比孙悟空的金箍棒还厉害10万倍的那样的一个锡杖，
啊
就代表他的尊严
which
哈，
represents
佛法的
his
这样的一个
dignity
棍子，金属的，
嗯
就是把它在地下扛
and
一
strike
戳
it into the
地狱就
ground.
给震
开了
开
嗯
啊，
And
是这
then
个
the gate of
地狱就
hell
能开了
opens.
啊
啊，朋友们跑吧，是吧？就
对呀
像今
The
天监狱
things inside will run out, just like escaping prisoners.
对，
关进监狱的人，他的最痛苦他不一定在里头挨揍，
Everyone wants
而是什么呢？
freedom.
没有自
憋在里头，没有自由。
Nobody
所以
likes to be in
进过监狱
prison.
的人都希望说，我千万别进监狱，我还在外面多自由啊！我想去哪去
I have
哪
so much
对不对？
freedom outside, I
所
can
以
go
那个像
wherever
被
I
关
want.
起来的人呢，
So for
他其实
those
你被
who are
剥
locked
夺了
up
你
for
的行
committing
动自由，
crimes,
是
to
非
have
常
your
痛苦
freedom
的。
taken away is a very
所以
painful
这一
thing.
天呢，你看7月14
So on July
啊，地狱
14th
门
of
打
the lunar
开
calendar,
啊，老张走了走
the
了，
gates of
门开
hell
了，咱
are
们走了，
wide
是
open.
这样。
So what's
嗯，
the
那老
door
张
is
这挺
open
有福
means?
气啊，他就出来了哈。
好，对，
Old
出
Zhang
来
is
了就
actually
碰见
quite
师傅
lucky.
了，
He was released from
而
hell.
且他知道
As he
梦中也
came
知道
out,
师傅
he
是
met
来超度
Grandmaster.
父亲的。
对，
Moreover,
帮他的。
Cai Yue knew
对，
that
然
Grandmaster
后
was
呢，
releasing
父
her
亲就跟着
father's
师傅
soul
一路
in the
沿着
dream.
上台阶儿往山顶上
山
走，
顶上
往
走上，
上走。
对，
And Grandmaster was
边
releasing her
走父亲
father's
一边
soul
念
in the
佛，
dreams, and he
哦，
was
对，
walking
师
up
傅
the
还表
mountain
扬了
top.
他，
啊，
说
对，
你
He
念的还是不
chanted
错的
while
呀。
张念的不
walking.
错哈。
啊，对啊，
Grandmaster
受
even
到师
praised
傅的
him,
表
saying,
扬
"You
真好，
chant well."
这个太荣幸了，
啊，
对
Old Zhang
对，
chanted
这
well.
已经就很好了
It's
吧。
great to
路上还
receive a
碰见一
praise
个
from
跳担子的一
Grandmaster.
个中年妇女，
对，
对，然后师傅也
So
是，
far,
哎，
so
一
good.
路
And then
走
on their
啊
way,
哈，
they encountered a
然后哎，
middle-aged
这个
woman
中年妇
carrying
女
a
也是
shoulder
很有
pole.
很有缘分，
Grandmaster
也是
invited
很
her
有
to
悟
join
性，
them.
对。
是，
This
让对
middle-aged
方
woman
欢
has
喜
a
惊
very
讶，
strong
心
karmic
想啊，
bond
我也
and
能
great
往上走
insight.
啊，哎，扭
对，
头
She
就
was
跟着
happy
师
to
傅往
join
上
them
走了
and
又，
followed
对，
them
嗯，
immediately.
然后就走
是，
到
They
山
reached the
顶，然后
mountain
他
top.
描述他梦境
The
中那个
mountain
山顶
top in her
一个
dream
平
is
坦
as
见的大
wide
广
like a
场，
big
而且
square,
还有那种红黄色的
and there are
阳光
red
哈，
and yellow sunlight.
看听起来就像
It
佛
sounds
光
like the
普照一
Buddha's
样
illumination.
错了。
啊。
其实就是
This
这个
light
他
she
看的
saw
山
on the
顶上
mountain
这个
top
光
was the
芒
most
是
important
最重
thing.
要的。
对了，
往往我们梦到地狱
Usually,
啊，
if
受
we
苦
dream
啊，
of
不
hell
可能有
and
光芒，
suffering,
对，
there
像
are no
阳
light.
光一样的光芒。
对，
那个梦中
The
的光
light in the
芒
dream
哈，
can be
可以
interpreted
理解为
as
叫4个字：吉祥如意，
auspiciousness and prosperity.
是这样的，甚至叫
真的
佛光普照
It。can
师傅他
even be
他
called
父亲是从
Buddha's
山洞里头
illumination.
给找出来的，山
对
洞里哪有
Grandmaster,
光啊？
应
her
该是
father
在
was found in a cave.
对，
而且还不
恶鬼道，
干净嘛，
There is no
对
light in the
不干净
cave.
就是但
He
是
might be in a
但是
hungry ghost
他们
realm.
之前呢，应该是做过功
This
德的事
indicates
情
that maybe
之
he
前
has
早就
done
做过功
merits
德的
or
事
good
情
deeds
所以
before.
至少说还有在
So
佛
at
像的
least
后面
he
有
could still hide
有
behind the
藏身
Buddha
之处，
and be
哎，
protected by
这个
them,
好。
你看又是佛
even when he
佛
was
在
in the
忽悠着
depths
他，
对
of hell.
哪怕在地狱道，
Doing
也
merits
能躲在
and good
佛像
deeds
后，
makes a difference.
真不一样哈。
真是好
所，以做功德就是不一样。
不一
It
样。
is not a
这
lie.
个对，这个骗不了人的。
对，
嗯，
然后他不是这个看到这种佛光普
So
照
there
的
was
山顶
Buddha's
然后
illumination on the
说是
mountain
吉
top,
祥如意他爸手里还拿
and
一
her
叠
father
钱
was
Oh.
holding a stack
这也
of
挺
money.
好啊
不但解脱，还弄点钱
Not
回来。
only has he attained
哎
liberation,
对，有
he
钱
has
了，
also
其
money
实在
now.
哪有钱都是有快乐
It's a
的事。
wonderful
对呀
thing.
这谁不高兴
Money
啊
is
对呀
useful
高兴啊
even
是
in
啊
the other
有
world.
钱好办事儿哈。啊，
对
对，嗯，
所以网友彩玉也是很
So
高
Cai
兴
Yue
啊
was
这梦
very
就醒了
happy when she woke up.
弄就行了。哎，
The dream was over.
然后他也在最后
Finally, she has one more thing to ask
他
Grandmaster.
在最初做第一个梦的时
In her
候
first dream,
梦见爸爸
her
虽然在
father was
土地
being
上种土地
cremated
但最后
and some relics
出
formed.
来有几个舍利子，
对
就是他想问师傅，哎，这个是
She
什么
wants
意
to
思
know what it
我觉得
means.
这个是功德，
I think it means
好像是
merits.
有功德
他是有一定功德的人，功德就做过善事，
啊
做过供养，
Or maybe it's the
啊
father's
是
merits.
吧？
He's a
或者
person
替
with
佛们做
merits.
过一点啥
Merits are
这样他就会
accumulated
有功
by
德。
doing good deeds and making offerings.
因为佛
Or
陀
maybe
慈
he
悲
has
啊，
done
比
something
如说
for the
你
Buddhist
就是说
community.
拿地藏经，
It brings
对
merits
你哪怕
because
阅读
Buddha
过一
is
次
compassionate.
是
这功德的种子已经种下了。
Everyone reading
功
the
德的
Earth
种子
Store
就是一颗
Sutra
舍利
哎呦
can
真
plant a
好
seed of
对吧
merit.
你把这部经
The
给
seed
别
of
人宣
merits
说，
is a relic.
听的人如果有4
If
个
you，preach the sutra
你
to
就5颗舍
others
利，
and 4 people
感恩
listen,
师傅收
就这么
到
简
you'll
单。
receive 5
所以
relics.
在佛门立功特别
Achieving
简单，
merits in
这是
Buddhism
你
is
不小心
simple.
立的功了。
So
你看是个简单
he
的
has
事
significant
但
merits,
是呢，这个功德很大，
and thus he
所以
doesn't
就
need to
这个功德
suffer,
导
even
致
in
他
hell,
就算到了地狱，他也不会受苦，而且快速解脱。
and he attains liberation
对
quickly.
加上这个孝顺子女
In
哈
addition,
还有连续做
His
功
filial
德
children continuously perform good deeds for him.
真是，
He immediately received Grandmaster's
还有问题吗？
salvation.
还有就是他也
It's a
问
great
那
story.
个挑着担子的那个
Any
妇
more
女
questions?
是不是他妈
She asked about the woman carrying the shoulder pole.
我觉得
Is
也
that
有
her
可能
mother?
哦
咱们
She
在这
guessed
个
that
时
it
候
might
因为他
be.
父母往生了
I
嘛，
also think it's
那
possible.
里头除了
Both
我
of her
之外，
parents have
这
passed
两个
away.
人
There were 3 people. One was me. How about the other 2? One is for sure her father. The other one is very likely to be her mother. And great, she also went up to the mountain top. Both her parents received salvation. They all reached the mountain top. Her mom was carrying a shoulder pole like a heavy burden. It is likely that her mother died with karma. She has some karma. The burden she carried was karma. She brought it to the mountain top. And on the mountain top, there was Buddha's illumination. So the place is no longer hell. It is not the underworld anymore. They have ascended. Let's analyze it again. When this kind of person reincarnates, they will be a wealthy person. Yes, he's carrying money. Perhaps in the next life, they will be a wealthy tycoon. They will enjoy a life of luxury. In this world, there will be wealthy and prosperous people. In either that or they ascend to heaven. Congratulations to Cai Yu and her deceased her parents. Gratitude to Grandmaster. And also thanks to Cai Yu for being such a filial child to accumulate merits for her parents. Your parents also care about you. They all reach liberation because of your meritorious offerings. They have reached the way to liberation. Gratitude to Grandmaster, and here's a gift for her. The 8 treasure auspicious beads. It's sparkling blue. This is a gift for you, Cai Yu. Wishing you good luck and prosperity. Received. Gratitude to Grandmaster. Grandmaster, next is a story from an online viewer from Taiwan. This is a story from Hong Zhenzu. Karmic creditors want me to offer light. Hello, Grandmaster. I joined Bodhi meditation in 2017. I joined a chanting class in September. The teachers there introduced me to light offerings. They encourage us to do it for our ancestors and karmic creditors. Back then, I don't understand the extraordinary benefits of light offering. What is the purpose of light offering? So I never offer light for my ancestors and karmic creditors. On the night of the 5th day of the chanting class, in my dream, I felt like ice cubes were sticking to my chest and back. I felt so cold. I cried out in my heart for Grandmaster's rescue. And then, this bone-chilling cold disappeared immediately. But I don't expect that the next day, the feeling reappeared again. Additionally, there were buzzing sounds in my ears. It's like someone was constantly talking. After I woke up, I tried to recall what the whispering in my ears was about. It didn't sound like a human language or heavenly language. I was really puzzled. I wondered if it was a voice from hell, and I couldn't figure out. On the 7th night, this situation happened again. For 3 days in a row, 2 people were talking in my ears. The chattering voice was ear-piercing, and I couldn't sleep. Abruptly, I said to them, "All right, I'll go and offer light tomorrow." The sound disappeared immediately, and it's very magical. So far, the situation has never occurred. It has been 3 years, and I'm just doing fine. So whenever my friends have problems, I will tell them to do a light offering. They have all benefited from offering light. Also, on the 1st day of the 7th month of the 2020 lunar calendar, I was chanting in the meditation center. I sat at the back. Grandmaster led us to the chanting of the Earth Store mantra. Suddenly, I kept hiccuping and yawning. When I looked up, I seemed to see the Earth Store Bodhisattva. He appeared on the Dharma stage, holding a staff, with a very tall and majestic figure. He emits a very compassionate and gentle aura. Many sentient beings appeared in the air and sat under the Dharma stage. I didn't know if they came to listen to the sutra or to seek Earth Store Bodhisattva's salvation, but I could feel Earth Store Bodhisattva gently watching over the sentient beings. I felt a pang of sadness in my heart. The Buddha was so compassionate. My tears continued to flow. Both experiences are special and I've never shared with anyone. Sharing it with Master and everyone this time makes me very happy. Gratitude to Grandmaster. A story from Dharma sister Hong Zhenzhu from Taiwan. Her state of mind is also quite realistic. Many practitioners, including myself, didn't quite believe in light offering when they first learned Buddhism. She really believed it after a real-life experience. For 3 days in a row, 2 voices spoke to her in her ears. It was so noisy that she couldn't even sleep. And finally, she came to her senses. She said she would offer light the next day. The chattering stopped as soon as the thought was formed. They received it. And then she did the light offering. And she has been safe since then. We don't know what would happen if she didn't. Here comes my question. Who was chattering? Maybe it was the souls that needed help. She heard about light offering during the class, but she didn't do it. Maybe the souls that were related to her blame her for not doing anything after knowing about it. Generally speaking, during the Ulabana festival, we help sentient beings who are our karmic creditors. They all had some relations with you. You either owe them money or favors. By helping them, they will reach liberation. You offer light for them, and they will stop bothering you. It's resolving grudges with merits. If Hong Zhenzhu has ignored the chatter, her psychological state would have been affected because they would keep bothering her. She owed them, so they will bother her. The human body cannot withstand ghost aura. The doctor couldn't diagnose what was the problem. And they will probably diagnose it as a psychological problem and prescribe medication. The medication will make you very sleepy. Your mind will be foggy all the time. It's even worse. It might solve the soul's chatter, but you can't even hear human chatters too. Your mind is all muddled by the medication. It is impossible to lead a normal life. Luckily, Hong Zhenzhu came to her senses and offered light. So she was liberated. Actually, she was liberated as soon as she has the thought. She offered light the next day. Those souls were suffering, so they bothered her. Chattering is a milder case. In worst case, they may cause incidents. Her karmic character is the kind type, not fierce. So she confirmed the miracle of light offering through her personal experience. So our online viewer says, we don't necessarily have to wait until it happens to confirm it. If it is useful, do it earlier. For the record, I did not invent light offerings. This is a path that Buddha gives to everyone. The most important contents about solving karmic debts and accumulating merits are all spoken by the Buddha. We are just repeating it. Whoever believes benefits. The earlier you do it, the earlier you benefit. At least this is what the Buddha says. The earlier you believe, the earlier you benefit. Shall we give Hong Zhenzhu a gift? Yes, Grandmaster. I'm being generous. Hong Zhenzhu. Here's this red bead that looks like a pearl.
好，
It matches a name.
如意吉祥哈。
Zhenju refers to pearl. I wish Hong Zhenju good luck and prosperity. Thank you, Master. Gratitude to Grandmaster. Next up is the story of an online viewer named Qingyun. Let's hear a story of married Staves' father, a dream of a big black fish. Hello, Grandmaster. I'm a disciple whom you have never met before. Last year, I came to know about you, and I've been practicing and learning Buddhism through the videos with you. I'm a new fan. During this period, I was lucky to learn energy bagua. By practicing energy bagua, my body got better. Gratitude to Grandmaster. Last month, I attended the Guan Yin Bodhisattva chanting class. Before the chanting class, one day I felt pain in my chest. And then I started coughing and had a runny nose. There were traces of blood in my mucus. I went to see a doctor and he says it's just feverish feeling. But I felt uneasy about it and I didn't know why. After that, I went to the chanting class. That night, I dreamt of a big black fish in a pond. There was no water in the pond. Many people gathered around to catch it. I walked over and gently touched it with my hand. The fish ran into a transparent bag. I turned around and left. When I returned, I found that the fish has been cut open. It looked very painful. I felt very sad and thought to myself, poor fish, you are destined to be eaten by humans. I shouldn't have touched you, otherwise you wouldn't have been caught. There's a pot next to the fish. I couldn't bear to watch and was about to leave. At that moment, the fish opened the door, and then it looked at me with a helpless expression. I felt even sadder. What can I do to help this fish that came to me? The fish seemed to know what I was thinking. A voice suddenly floated over and said, "You can save me." I immediately picked up the fish and placed it on the table. While opening the fish's chest, I was thinking of how I can save it. I searched while I cried. Then another voice floated over and said, "It's okay. You don't have to be so sad. I'll be fine. You just have to find the key to save me." The key. At that time, I didn't know what key it was referring to. I felt inside its chest. I touched a silver thread. I don't know if it is or it's not. I just felt like there was a treasure with a lock in its chest. It seemed like there's a force guiding me to open that lock. There are unfamiliar words on the lock. I looked up and glanced at this fish. I sadly said to it, "I haven't opened this lock yet. I don't know how to help you either." I cried while saying this. The fish looked at me with a gentle expression. It seems like it was no longer in pain. Then another voice came to me saying, "You have already helped me. I'm fine now. Don't be sad." And then I woke up. After waking up, the fish kept appearing in my mind. I had an uneasy feeling. Suddenly, I thought of my father. My father used to like eating fish. And since I learned from Grandmaster, so I wonder, is that the fish that Dad had heard before? This fish holds a grudge. I went to the Buddhist altar to offer incense and chant, but what was meant to happen still happened. At noon, I received a phone call. My father was hospitalized. He's coughed out blood. The doctor said that my father had a lung infection, and other parts have not been diagnosed yet. Further examination will be needed. My mind was baffled. I remembered that fish again. It seems that that fish came after my father. I only had one idea, to chant for my father. Coincidentally, the next day was the day of Guan Yin Bodhisattva enlightenment, and it was also the first day of the Guan Yin Bodhisattva chanting class. I sincerely chanted. I dedicate my merits to my father. That afternoon, the results of my father's examinations came out. It's lung cancer. I was thunder-shocked. My brother cried and told me that the local hospital doctors don't recommend surgery. They suggested conservative treatment because it's severe. I cried for a long time in the meditation center. And then there was a voice in my mind, a key. The fish in my dream was saved by a key. The word key in Chinese is Yao Shi. It rhymes with Yao Shi Fo, which is the medicine Buddha. The dream must be a warning from Buddha. Seek the medicine Buddha for help. Grandmaster, is the incarnation of the medicine Buddha. The illness was discovered during the chanting class, and this indicates that the Bodhisattva wants me to help my father accumulate merits now. I open yushuhome.com right now. I did a merit for my father, and then I continued to chant. Later, I called my brother and told him that Bodhisattva will bless our father. Do not panic. Let's change hospitals and get another checkup. I continued to chant in the chanting class. I dedicated all the merits to my father. I still felt that the merits were not enough. I couldn't resolve my dad's karmic creditors, so I did more merits for my father. There was sponsorship of the Earth Store Sutra. I did 2 sponsorships for my father. I chanted while doing merits. I kept in touch with my family. My brother said that they can only go to the provincial hospital 3 days later. I comforted my younger brother. I believe that the Bodhisattva will bless my father. On the 5th day of the chanting class, I offered another light for my father. I hope my father's results will be better or less severe. I dedicated all the merits of chanting to my father. The results really made me very happy. It was still cancer, but it's not end-stage cancer. It's early stage and it can be treated with surgery. When I received this news, I was so happy that I cried. I went to the altar and I offered incense to thank the Buddha. The blessings of the Buddha saved my father. I'm so grateful to the Buddha. The merits of light offerings are miraculous. The hospital said that they can do the surgery, but there are no available beds, so we have to wait to proceed. I continued to chant. I prayed for a bed to become available soon, and that night, I finished chanting Medicine Buddha mantra. A bed was available. My father was admitted to the hospital. Gratitude to Medicine Buddha. Then, the doctor informed us that the surgery will take place at 5:30 p.m. the next afternoon. I think surgery is not a small matter. To bless my father more, I offered a big light for him. I hope his surgery will go smoothly. I continued to chant for my father's karmic creditors. I remember when I was young, our family was poor. My father made a living by trading chickens and ducks. He would stuff the stomachs of the chickens and ducks with water and food just to sell them at a higher weight. Those animals were in so much pain when I think back right now. I chant for them too. That night, I dreamed of a group of chickens and ducks lined up in a row. They passed me by in order. Although they didn't say anything, I felt like they were just leisurely queuing up. I don't know what it means. I just felt that the merits I did just benefited them. After the chanting class was over, I continued to chant. In the morning, I prayed and hoped that my father can begin his surgery sooner, so he will not have to starve the whole day. Then something magical happened. His surgery was originally scheduled at 5:30 p.m. It got moved to 2:30 p.m. I knew that Grandmaster would bless my father, so I was not worried about the surgery at all. The results of the surgery also brought great joy. The surgery was completed ahead of schedule, and it was very successful. It has been 4 days since my father's surgery, and he can get out of bed and walk around already. He's recovering very well. We are grateful to the Bodhisattva and gratitude to Grandmaster. This is a joyful story. Her father did get sick, but the outcome was great. The surgery went well and his condition was not severe. He can be healthier again, and he's recovering well. She remembered the whole story and the timeline was very consistent. She records it very thoroughly. The Buddha and Bodhisattvas have blessed them. Qingyun has a strong karmic bond with Buddhism and Grandmaster. She was learning with Grandmaster. The day before the chanting class, she had an omnibus premoniment and had a dream. In the dream, she saw a big black fish, and it was being cut open. Then she tried to save this big black fish. The fish told her to find the key to save it. As she woke up, she realized that her father used to love eating fish, and maybe it was related to her father. And then it was really about her father. That day, she received a call about her father's condition and was told to be very severe at first. The doctors didn't recommend surgery. Looking back now, if she hadn't joined this chanting class, the outcome might have been very different. Yeah, if she did not join, but she did join. She has great faith in Grandmaster and the Buddhas. She did merits for her father all the way. Qingyun is also a very filial child. She chanted seriously. She made offerings and did merits repeatedly. She tried to save her father and it worked. Her dreams were also very peculiar. She dreamed about the blackfish being cut open and it told her to find the key, which is 钥匙. This kind of warning is quite interesting. But the blackfish was cut open. Is that auspicious? No, it's not. So, when you cut open, it can be related to the surgery. Surgery is also about opening up a body. But what does it have to do with a fish? Her father used to love eating fish and he ate a lot of fish. She also mentioned that her father did chickens and ducks trading. In fact, many people who sell chickens and ducks use the method of forcefully stuffing food into the animal's stomach to increase the weight. They sell based on the animal's weight. Take a duck as an example. Normally, it weighs around 3 pounds. They will stuff it up to 5 pounds. They stuff the animals with water and wheat bran. Let me tell you how terrible it is. I've seen them do it on pigs. They force feed them by pulling those pigs and inserting a metal pipe into their mouth. On the other side of the pipe were several large buckets filled with not the real fodder, but sand and soil to increase their weight. So those things are stuffed into their stomach. The pig couldn't fight back. They were hung up. And then you will see their belly bloat up like a balloon. So for example, a 150-pound pig, when it's sold, it weighs 220 pounds. They filled the animals' stomachs with useless and dirty stuff. So, when we hear Qingyun's story, we know that these actions will eventually reflect on oneself. It's retribution. And it may be worse. Maybe when a person goes to hell, he'll be force-fed with feces. That's retribution. It's more disgusting than you can imagine. So Qingyun's dream is a sign. It reminds us to be a kind person. Do not sell fake items. Do not fake things. All harm you do to others will come back to you. In the end, you are harming yourself. She said that she also dreamt about the chickens and ducks walking leisurely. When her father was selling chickens and ducks, he would stuff them with things. The chickens and ducks were so painful. He didn't care since they were going to be slaughtered anyway. Doing all this harm just to earn a little more money. This sin is strong. So when we say, this is immoral, what is this moral? Moral character. One who lacks moral character will bear karma. There will be retributions. How many times do you have to endure? Let's say you starve a total of 5,000 ducks. Then you might have to endure it 5,000 times. It might be even more than 5,000 times. Maybe millions of times. you will go to hell.
很恐怖。那也有人说，在地狱
And you'll be
反正我也不知道
starved with
没去呢
feces for
不在人
possibly
间呢
5,000
你
years.
可能得很
It's
脏
so
的病
terrifying. So some might say, we can't be sure about hell. What about in the human
活
world?
受罪的
You might
这
get
个病
very
多了，
bad
说的都
diseases.
吓死人。
Isn't it called the hell of
所以
earth?
各种各样的病，没一个病让你
Suffering.
是享受的。
There are also
都
so
是非
many
常痛苦的。
diseases that you can suffer from. All kinds of sickness and diseases.
青云也是
There's
个
no fun
孝
disease.
顺的孩
It's
子
all
啊
very painful. Qingyun has a strong bond with Grandmaster, and Qingyun is also a filial child. She learned this lesson in 1 year
正是他的诚意
and
啊
applied it
我觉得
immediately.
佛菩萨也是在
She
梦
helped
中
her father
警
to
示
reach
他看到
liberation.
这些景象。
It's all due to her sincerity. I think the Buddha was warning her in her dream. It's nice. Let's give
这样的
Qingyun a
话，关
prayer
键是
beat
他的
too.
父亲是得
The
救
most important thing is that her
那
father
作
is
为儿女
safe.
来说，你就
As
心
a
安
child,
了哈。
she is now
今
feel
天
at
特别我
ease.
是特别的赞美你哈。
First of all,
这
I
位孝顺的
especially
儿
want
女
to
哈
commend you
佛菩萨
for
都会
being a
护佑
filial
你
child.
会如
Buddha
吉祥
and
啊
Bodhisattvas
天
will
天
bless
开心
you.
幸福啊
May you be auspicious
还
and
长命
happy.
百岁。
Receive gratitude to Grandmaster.
青云还是
May
跟
you
爸
live a
爸
long
爸
life.
爸那个恢复了一
After
一
your
些的
father
话，一起可以
recovers,
走八卦啊
remember to
啊
practice
坚持
energy
走八
bagua
卦，你自
together.
己都受益了
You can all
爸爸也一
benefit
定
from
可以通
practicing
过八卦
energy
那种而
bagua.
受益的。
嗯，好。
All
送你一
right.
颗
I'll give you
绿
a
色的珠子啊
yellow green bead.
好，祝福你了哈。
Wish you
刚才
all
祝
the
福已经
best.
说过了哈，谢谢你。
Gratitude to
师父。
Grandmaster.
那接下来呢，
Next,
是来自网友程
It is a
程，
story from an online viewer called
他是表
Chen
弟
Chen.
投胎了吗？
Is
请
he
师
the
父
reincarnation
开
of my
始
cousin?
就去年2月初
May Grandmaster
二舅
guide
家的
him.
大媳妇儿
Early February
骑
last
车的
year,
时候把腿
my
摔
second
断了，
uncle's
没过几
eldest
天
daughter-in-law
二
broke
媳
her
妇儿
leg
骑
while
车
riding
又
a
撞到了
motorcycle.
石头上，
A
把
few
脸
days
和腿
later,
都摔
his
烂了，
second
住院
daughter-in-law
缝了
also
10几
crashed
针，
while riding
破
a
了相。
motorcycle.
我听说了之
Her
后，
face
当
and
时很
mouth
忙，
were all
直到
bruised.
10月初
She had to
我
get
才
more than
请
10
假
stitches on her
开车回
face.
老家去
I
看
was
望
busy
她
when I
了。
heard about it,
在凌晨
and I
3点
didn't
多
take
的时
leave
候，
until early
一只小
October.
花猫
I
爬到
drove
我
back
家
to
大
my
门外，
hometown to
喵
visit
喵
them.
叫个不停，
It was
叫的
around
声音
3
令我
a.m.
很害怕
A
不
cat
安。
climbed up onto
但
the
既然睡
doorstep
不
of
着，
my
我就
house.
干脆早
It
起上
meowed
香礼佛，盼
incessantly.
望佛菩萨保佑
The
我一
sound
路
of its
平安。
meowing made me
我就一
feel
路
very
放着师父
uneasy,
诵念的观音
and
圣
since I
圣
couldn't
号，
sleep,
顺利的
I
到达了老
decided to
家。
get up to offer
我先去
incense
看
to
的是大
Buddha.
姨，
I
可
hope
是
that Buddha
又
will
发现
bless
一
my
只猫
journey.
在大姨的屋
I
顶上
played
喵喵的叫，
Grandmaster's
声音
chanting
瘆得
to
慌。这是怎么了呀？有什
Avalokitesvara.
么寓意呀？
I
后来
arrived at
呢，
my
到了老
hometown
家东
safely.
家做西家吃，一晃
I
几
visited
天
my
也就
aunt
过去
first.
了。
I
看
found a
完亲
cat
戚们，刚
meowing
要
on
准
top
备
of
回
my
我
aunt's
自己
roof.
家，坏消息
The
传
sound
来
made
了。
me feel
我
very
二舅家的
uneasy.
大儿子，
What's going
就是我
on?
表弟，
What's the
今年
meaning behind
49
this?
岁。当时
Later, I
正是
visited
秋收
different
的季
relatives and
节，
had
表
meals.
弟开
A
车
few
拉
days
玉米的
later,
时候，
I
在拐弯处
finished
为了躲
visiting
另
my
外一辆
relatives and
车，
was about
结
to
果
return
人
home.
和车
Bad
都
news
翻到
came.
沟里了。
My eldest
抬上
son,
来的时
of
候，
my
已
second
经断
uncle,
气往
who is
生
my
了，
cousin,
非常的惨。
he is 49
我心
years
想，
old.
这是冤
It was
亲
the
债主
harvesting
来讨
season,
债
and when
呀！
my
我
cousin
就立
was
刻在
driving a
禅堂
corn
点了
car
大
to
圆满
avoid
灯，
another
盼
car,
望大慈
both
大悲
he,
药
both
师
he
佛
and the
接
car
引我
flipped
表
into
弟。
a ditch.
从老
He
家
was
回
dead
来后，
on the
有
scene.
一天我躺在
It
床
was a
上
tragic
休息，
incident. I
睡
thought it
梦
might be
中
due to
一个
karmic
白白
death,
胖胖的
and I
小
went
男
to
孩
offer
在
light
我
in the
旁边，
meditation
爬在
center.
我脸上，
I hope
面
that the
带微
Messenger
笑地
Buddha will
亲了
guide
我
my
一口，
cousin.
之后
I
高兴
returned
地
from
走
my
了。
hometown.
在
One
儿
day
媳
when I
妇
was
了，
lying in the
没过
bed
多久
resting,
就生了一个
a
小男
chubby
孩。
little boy
这
appeared
个
in
小
my
男孩
dream.
和我做
He
梦看
crawled
到
to the
的
side
小
of my
男孩
bed
长
and
得一
kissed me
模
on
一
my
样，都
face.
是白白胖胖的。
Then
师
he
傅，
happily
这
walked
是我表
away.
弟投胎
Not
了
long
吗？
after,
感恩师
my
傅为我
uncle's
解
third
梦。
daughter-in-law gave birth to a little
什么意
boy
思啊？
that looks like the little
对
boy in my dream.
对，
Both are
从
chubby.
头捋捋他的故事啊。
Grandmaster, is he a reincarnation of my cousin? Thank you, Grandmaster, for helping me to interpret my dream.
对
Quite interesting. Let's start from the beginning.
他要回老家的
Cat.
这个早上
There were
凌
two
晨
cats
准备嘛，一
对
大早
meowing
咱们就走
towards
哈
him.
是
结果凌晨
One
3
was
点钟
before he
在
went
大
back
门
to
外
his
头
hometown.
叫
喵喵叫，
The meowing made him feel uneasy.
叫的他很不舒服。
对他觉得不舒服。
嗯，
另外就是
The
到了
other
老家
one
之后，
is after he arrived.
房顶上
他
又
大姨家、
喵叫
二姨家
The
来
cat was on the
大姨
roof
家
of his second
哎
aunt's
房
house.
顶上猫在那叫，
嗯
哎，一般的猫叫的话
Normally,
不至于
a
引
cat's
起它那么
meowing
关
wouldn't
注
attract his attention
所以
that
我相信
much.
叫的状态
So I believe the meowing sound was quite unique.
对，因为太特别了，所以
Because it is
他
unique,
就觉得
he
这是个事
thinks this is a
对
但是
matter,
他
but
解读不了，
he can't
不知道
interpret
猫
that.
叫啥呀？
对
He doesn't understand
不
meowing.
懂，
是，
嗯，
结果呢， 玩了几
And
天
then
之后，
something
突
happened.
然之间，人家报告坏消息来了，
A few
是吧
days
他
later,
表弟
the bad news
49
came.
岁那个大表弟，
His
刚
49-year-old
才堵车的
cousin
时候翻沟里去了，
crashed his car
车给抬上来就死了，
and died on the
对
scene.，
可能叫车给砸死了。
It was tragic.
挺惨。
哎呀，真是惨。
他二舅家的。
The
二舅
eldest
家的儿
son
子
of his
但是这
second
个
uncle
死
died.
和猫叫也没关系。
He wonders if it's anything to do with the meowing cat. He thinks that the cat knew it beforehand. It came to tell
他
him,
是
but he couldn't
以我的
understand.
经验哈，
None of
通
us
常
can
这个
understand. As
对
far as I
来
know,
来
after you
捉
die,
人
some
要
ghosts
死
will
去
take
捉你
a
的灵
soul
魂的
away.
哈，这
We
个
call them
我们叫黑白
the
无
black
常嘛，
and white
也叫鬼差。
impermanence.
他往
If
往
there are
如果这个地
cats
方有猫的
In
时
their
候，
arrival,
他就会借猫来
they will
表
use
示
the
他
cat
来
as a
报应。
sign that they are coming
这
to
个
take
时候这个
someone
猫的
away.
叫声哈
So in this
和表
case,
情非常的
the
气
cat's meow and feature
哎，像
will be
这小猫
desperate
这表
and
情
creepy.
根本就是很温和的，
Usually, a cat is cute
Eh.
and gentle,
那是可爱
but
型
in
的。
that case,
哎
things will be different.
对
The cat will appear vicious
凶恶
and
型的
dreadful, just like a
对，
ghost.
像鬼一样的。所以通常这样，他们容易附在这个猫、
The black and white
还有
impermanence
毛驴
will possess a
乌
cat,
鸦、
a donkey,
蝙蝠
a crow,
等这些
or a
的身
bat.
上，就他们
When this
发出的那个
happens,
表情很
The
奇怪，
features and sounds of these animals become
这个
very
时候是来
strange.
捉人的
They are
这样
being
的
possessed.
使者。嗯，
No wonder.
对，所以呢，接下来他表弟
So an
就是
incident happened to his
横
cousin.
横是给打
He
死。
crashed to death. Well, Cheng Cheng was knowledgeable, so he hastily began doing
他
merits,
修行嘛，
offering
修行
light,
他就感
and
觉是不
chanting.
妙
He
但
felt
是他没
something
太
was
具体
amiss,
哪里不妙？
but he couldn't figure out exactly what it was. He did merits and prayed for the medicine Buddha to guide his cousin.
是
After leaving his hometown, one day in his dream, he saw a chubby little boy. The little boy even kissed his cheek, and then the little boy happily walked
所以
away.
他的问题就是说，
So his question is whether his cousin has been reincarnated.
从伦理上说有点怪哈，但是从灵魂转世来
Ethnically
说，
speaking,
应
it's a
该
bit
说还
strange,
真有点像。
but in terms of soul reincarnation, it seems quite plausible. Ethnically speaking, it is strange that his third uncle had a son. That might be the reincarnation of his cousin.
所以通
But
常在这
from-
个转世
From the
学说呢
perspective of
和
reincarnation
人类的
theory,
这个辈
it is
分伦理
possible.
学说呢，它有时
so
候是
reincarnation theory could sometimes
是吧？
conflict
你
with
说
human
爷爷
ethics.
因为喜
For
欢这个家
example,
嘛，
A late
可能就
grandfather
变成
loved
了
his
曾
family so much.
甚至爷
He
爷
might come back to the
甚至变
family
成了
again
曾
by
孙
becoming the family's great grandson.
甚至奶奶变
Or
成了
a
孙
late
媳妇都有可
grandmother
能
becomes the family's
所以它
daughter-in-law.
转世这个概念
The
和
concept
我们
of
人间的这个
reincarnation
辈
is
分
not
伦理概念
equivalent to
它
the
是不
human
相等
concept of generational
这样的
ethics.
那所以他这个三
That's how it is.
三舅
So the
家这个媳
daughter-in-law
妇
of his
生的这
third
个小
uncle's
宝宝
family gave
有
birth to
可
this
能
little
就是他
baby.
表弟的转世
He may be the reincarnation of his cousin.
因为有一
Because
个印证的东西
There
是
is
什么呢
something that
他
confirms it.
梦到一个小男孩
He
白
dreamt
白
of a
胖胖
chubby
还
little
在
boy,
脸上亲了一口
and he even
这
kissed
亲
him
这
on
一
the
口都是
cheek.
有说法的
There is a meaning behind this kiss. Does it mean that they are
不是
close?
他给他
No.
他是
It
表
means
示感谢的意思
gratitude.
对他不是帮他超
He did
度
merits and offerings for him, didn't he?
帮他超度就没
Therefore,
有在地狱
he
受
would
苦
not
瞬间
suffer
转
in
世了
hell.
而且还转到自
He
己家去了
reincarnated and returned back to the original family.
就那个村儿
He loves his homeland.
对
He
他
loves
喜
the
欢玉米
village
地
and the cornfield.
哎他回去继续拉
He
玉
wants
米
to continue working on the cornfield.
这是有可
It
能
could
哈
be.
就是人呢住一个地方
Sometimes
哈
people
有时候
dislike the
讨厌
place where
但
they
是真要
live
放
in,
弃了之后才觉得哎好
but
我好
when they
喜欢
left,
所以
they
很多
realize
人
how much they
在
love
一
it.
个地方居住要走的时候
That's
突
when
然
pe-
眼
when
泪就
people
下
live in a place for a long time,
你看
they
有的孩
cry
子
when they're
哈
leaving.
就比较
The
情比较
more
重的
sentimental
住
ones
旅馆
might even
住一个
cry
礼拜走
even
的
when
时
they're
候看
leaving
那
a
个床
hotel
哭
that they have been staying for a
那你一
week.
下住了17年27
For
年
example, you
37
live in
年
a
了
place for
看见啥
many
都哭啊
years.
要
You will
离开的
miss
时候
that
就
when
是
you
这样
leave.
所以人家又回去了
So he went back to that place. Grandmaster, in Earth Store Sutra, we learned that when a baby is born, we should chant sutra and accumulate merits for them.
所以别大
That's
吃二
right,
喝的
don't
杀
kill
生
for food.
为了
For
庆祝孩子
example,
的
when we
满
celebrate
月
our
好周岁也
our
好
child's birthday,
哎 我们还
Try
是倡
to
导用吃
prefer
素的
a
方法，
vegetarian
好
diet
吧？
对，
哎，家里
that is
人呢，
light
无论
and
请厨
simple.
师做还是自己做哈，
嗯
整些素的，清清淡淡。
嗯，
现在很多人还
Nowadays,
是
many
不愁
people
吃
eat
穿的，
well.
对，
所以肚子还是有
Their
水多的。
stomachs are filled
所以
with
吃些
greasy
清清淡
food.
淡素的，
So
这又
try
快乐
to
又
eat
吉祥又
light
健康，
对，
vegetarian food.
关键还健康。
It will help
这样
us
不
to
要
be
去为
healthy,
你生了一
happy,
个孩子，
and
你杀了
auspicious.
10只鸡、10只鸭之类就不好了。
Don't kill and eat dozens of chickens and ducks just to celebrate the birth of your child.
关键呢，被杀的动物也
Buddhas
不开心嘛。
and Bodhisattvas will not be
对
pleased.
呀，
啊，
到最后都报应在这小孩身上去，都是你生了，我
Most
们死了，
importantly, the
对不
animals
对？
will be
这小孩
angry
能怎么
too,
得好
and
运？
they will become your karmic
哎，所以还
creditors.
是要
In the
吃
end,
素
the
的来
retribution
庆祝，
falls
好
on your
吧？道理
children.
特别简单。
So, you should prefer a vegetarian diet for celebrations. It is simple. Remember to do merits and chant for your child as well.
是
Your
啊
children will be
将
happy
来还更
and
容易
smart.
成才呀，
They will grow up
因为这个
without
孩子的教
trouble.
化很重要呀。
嗯，
多少孩子不争气，是吧？
They
到
will
了中
achieve
学、大学走上了
success
歪路，对不
more
对？
easily.
哎，所以的话，从小教育孩子和为孩子做吉祥功德，其实
How to
是至
educate
关
a
重要
child is an important
哎它的
matter.
程度哈，
Many
绝对
people
不
go
次于替老人
astray
治病。
when they reach
相当
middle
的重
school
要。
or college.
对，
So educating children and doing merits for the children are all crucial matters.
之前年初的时候，不是2个儿媳妇儿都
It is
出了
as
车
important
祸
as
嘛
treating the elderly.
对，还是
There's
有
one
这
more
个
thing to
吉
remind
祥的
Chen Chen's
事情
family.
发生哈
At the beginning of the
对，
year, before your
他这
elder
说
cousin left,
这个表
both
表弟
daughter-in-laws
哎
had a
表
car
弟走了之
accident.
后，他
This is
的表弟
ominous
的2
matter.
个媳妇哈，
Two
2个儿
people
媳妇
get into a
相
car
继都
accident
撞
one
车，
after
哎
another,
造成了身体的伤
and they are
害
all
啊，
physically
其实是
injured.
挺横
That
事
is bad.
对，
是不是啊？你看表弟到将近50
His
岁，
cousin
虚岁
died
50，对不对？
嗯，
at
就是
close to the
对，
age of
这个应该
50.
长寿，
就不叫夭折，也叫短寿，
It is a short
对不对
life,？
而且是横死。
and it was a brutal
还有呢，
death.
接下来这2个儿媳
Next,
妇
both
相继的出
daughter-in-laws
事儿，
had
对不对？虽然没
accidents.
死，但都受
Although
伤，
they did not die,
还有一个
they were all
脸
injured,
都破相
but
了
they
像
survived.
但是保
Blood
命了，
was shed.
是保命了，
对
是
都见血了。
对是，
对，所以这叫像
A
算命
fortune
先生
teller
就
will
这
call
叫
this
血
a
光之灾
blood-shedding
对
disaster.
血光
It
之
could
灾
be
有
mild
轻有
or
重，重了
severe.
要命，
It can
轻
be
了受伤，
fatal and
但是一
simple
定
or
得见血
simple injuries,
所以
but
是
there
有
will
不
be
吉祥。
bloodshed.
那
So
通常来
it is
说的话呢，
ominous.
家里头
Usually,
是
one
功
of
德
the
问题，第二
reasons is
个
the
可能
lack
风
of
水的问题
merits.
啊，
Another
都要
reason
调
is
整。
bad feng
主要的
shui.
是阳宅
Adjustments
还
need
是
to be
阴宅，
made.
它可能各有各的问题。我
I feel
我
that
现
his
在我就
second
觉得
uncle's
他们
family
家
had
他
some
表
feng shui
他
problems.
二舅
That's what I
他
feel.
大舅家，
Chen Chen should hurry up and tell them.
对，就
他
代表哥
舅家的
那家嘛，
他舅家的阴宅风水有问题，就是我现在的感觉。
哦，那
嗯
程程赶紧的
嗯，，
对，
都
赶
Chen
紧
Chen
把
should
我的
hurry
话
up and
转告
tell
给他
them
们，
对，赶紧
还是
去看
请那种风水
to
先生
find a
看一
feng
下，
shui master
是
to
吧？
take a
看能不
look
能解决一下。
and see if it
但
can
是
be
也有很多
resolved.
它都分在哪个国家了？
Which
那
country
有些国
are
家
they
经常
currently
推
in?
土地把坟给推倒
Some
了，
countries often demolish graves on the land,
更不要说你弄风水坟了。
and the
弄不了
family cannot find the
哎
family's
所以
grave to
所以那
settle
个
the
是
feng
没有
shui.
办法。有些人都找不到自己祖
There's
坟
no
的
way
到
to
具
do
体
it.
是哪一
多
块儿
人。都找不
Many
到
people
找不着了
can't find
因
the
为很多在
ancestral
这个
tomb.
知道的这块地里头，在这个地的
In the
地
end,
头上来
they can
烧
only
香
make their
看
offering on the land
对
without a
真是挺
specific
麻烦
spot.
啊。
嗯，
It is quite troublesome.
对，总之就是说这个
Gratitude
阴
to
宅阴宅
Master.
都看一
In
看
short,
尤其是阴宅
feng shui
另外呢
matters.
家族还是
In
要有
addition,
功
the
德
family should also do
来消灾
merits,
避难
dispel
对
disasters
恐
and
怕事情还
calamities.
没有了
I'm
啊
afraid the
所
situation
以
is
的
not
话
over
这个
yet,
家人
so
要
this family needs
其
to
实要做
continue to
功
do
德
good
修
deeds
善
and to
啊
build merits
做功
to
德
avoid
修
worse
善
troubles
之
that
后
may
呢，
happen.
才能避开其他的更大的横事。
是的，
对他有这么一股
There is an
邪
evil
气在我们
aura
家
in
啊
his
还有就
house.
是家里的话呢，也可以
You
就
can
是
place
供
some
佛
Buddha
像啊
statues,
塔呀
tankas,
在这个月你
or
看这书
Vajra
本上就
pastels
介
in
绍
your
的这
home.
些密
密宗
宗的对
的护法
金刚
神
像啊这一
对
些，对，还是有这种震慑
It
作
will
用。
scare
对
away
他
the
横
evil
是
aura.
那么厉害的一个家族来
A
说，
family with
这
terrible
个
incidents like
一
this
家请
should
一个
have
小
a
的
large
家族性挺
Vajra
大的，
或者是
pestle
大的金
placed
刚
in their
杵
home.
对，
哎，立在那边，一下就是镇住。
是。
It will
你
ward
最
off the
少的话
evil
也得
aura.
在你的每一个屋
At the very
里头
least, place a
供放
sutra,
经啊，
一本
especially
佛经
Earth Store
和
Sutra.
地藏经都可以啊。
in each room of your house.
否则家里头其实邪气
Otherwise,
煞
there's
气挺
actually a
重
lot of negative energy in the
所以
house.
程程你自己好好修，
So
然后家
Cheng
族
Cheng
的这
should
些
continue
结
practicing
结
and do what Grandmaster said to
说
resolve
化解
this
的方
family's
法
trouble.
要听师傅的指导，尽量的早一点做到。
对对
帮着
对
亲人们一起。
对
嗯
对，好的，那
All
师傅
right.
那我们也给程
Let's
程
also give
一个
Chen
宝
Chen
珠
an
好
auspicious
对
prayer
对
bead.
嗯
Here you go.
好，完了程程你这个
Chen
故
Chen's
事还
story
挺
is
好玩的哈
interesting but
非常挺
scary.
瘆得慌，就是但是大家还是受教
It
育
has
的
taught
啊
us a thing
对
or two
对
though.
送你一颗宝
So
珠，
here's an
祝
auspicious
你这
prayer
个
bead for you.
健康长寿，
I wish you good
如意吉
health,
祥哈，
good
早
life,
点解决
long
家里的
life,
问
and
题
good
哈。
fortune.
好，感谢你。
Hopefully, your
知道
family
感恩师
troubles
傅
can
感恩
be
师傅
solved
那
soon.
接下来是马来西亚
Receive
宝莲坛
gratitude to
堂
Master.
文根师姐
Next
啊
up is a story
带
from
我
a
来的
Dharma
一个见
sister
证，叫做
from
梦见养
Malaysia.
母。师傅好，感恩您教授我们地藏
Dreaming
经，
of my
我
foster
现在更
mother.
了解为祖
Hello,
先和以
thank
父
you
亲人
for
做功德
teaching
的重
us
要
the
性。
Earth
想
Store
跟您分
Sutra.
享我已故
Now
的
I
养
can
母
better
的故事。
understand the importance
我
of
来菩
doing
提上
merits
修
for
的
our
前一年，也
ancestors
就是
and
2015
deceased
年
loved
9月
ones.
12号，
I want to
正好
share
是
with you
我
the
的
story
农历
of
生
my
日
late
那天，
foster
我的
mother.
养母去
The
世了。
year before I
那
started
连续
practicing
4
Bodhi
年呢，在我的
meditation,
生日前后，我都会生病，也不知道为什么。
my
在养
foster
母
mother passed
2019
away
年，也就
on
是
my
4
lunar
周年忌
birthday,
日的那一天，
which
我
is
又
the
病倒
12th of
了。
September
之后不久，我在马来
2015.
西亚娇来禅堂遇
For
到了师
4
傅，
consecutive
我在
years,
心
I
里
would
祈
always
求
fall
师傅
sick
祝福
ill
我和我
around
已
my
故的
birthday,
养母。
and I didn't
结
know
果那
why.
一年，我的这个
In
病啊，比往
2019,
年都
the
恢复
4th
得快。
anniversary of my
在
foster
养母
mother's
5
death,
周年
I
忌日的
fell
前一
ill
周，我
again.
在客厅里念
Shortly
佛。
after that, I
那
met
下午
Grandmaster
啊，
at the
养母
meditation
来到了
center
我
in
先生的
Malaysia.
梦中，我先生看到
I
已故
prayed
的
in my
养母
heart to
在
Grandmaster
港
to
口
bless
的
me and my
等
late
候
foster
区
mother. That year, I recovered
母亲的
faster
腿
than in
上呢
previous
坐着一个
years.
哭泣的女孩，
A week
她正在
before the
安
5th
抚那个女
anniversary
孩。
of my
当
foster's
母亲
mother's
看到
death,
我和我
I
的
was
先生
chanting
时
in my
呢，
living
她
room.
告诉我们
My
她牙痛
foster mother
啊，而且
appeared in
她
my
还想吃
husband's
豆
dream.
芽。
He
我先
saw
生立刻
my
就告
late
诉她，
foster
我
mother
们可以
waiting
带
at a
你
pot.
去那个餐
A
厅吃
crying
豆
girl
芽。
was sitting on her
但是
lap.
后来呢，先
She
生
was
就意识到，
comforting the
因为
girl.
当时是疫
When
情
my
限制
mother
了，
saw
吃
my
饭只
husband
能
and
坐
I,
2个人。
she told us
先
she
生
has
就
a
告诉母
toothache and
亲
wanted to
啊，
eat
让
bean
我
sprouts.
带着
My husband immediately
母亲呢
replied,
开车
"We can
去
take
那
you to the
边。
restaurant to eat bean sprouts."
这是先生的
But
梦嘛，
my
那先
husband
生把这
remembered
个梦告诉
something.
我，我
Due
感
to the
觉我已故
pandemic,
的母
only
亲
2
想要
people
转世
are
啊，
allowed
因为她
in
在
a
港口
car.
的等候区
My
呢。
husband told my
但是呢，
mother,
她还需要一些
"Your
帮助，
daughter will
因为
drive you
她说
there."
她牙痛。
That was
我
my
于是在
husband's
禅
dream. He
堂
told
给
me
她炖
about
了
it.
3天的
I
羹，
feel that my
烧了
deceased
一些
mother
果
wants to
子给
reborn
她，也
because
煮了
she
她
was
想
at
吃
the
的豆
pot,
芽。
but she
点
needs
灯
some
和
help.
祈祷之
She
后
said
呢，
she has a
我就
toothache.
不在
I did a
母亲的
3-day
忌
light
日期
offering
间
at the
生病
meditation
了，每
center
年
for
都很
her.
平安。
I burned some
我最近
offerings for
2次
her.
呢，
I
又
also
梦见了
cooked
我的
bean
养
sprouts
母，
for her.
她在我的梦
After I
中
did
又
light
死去
offering
了。
and praying,
梦中
I
她
didn't get
死
sick
了，
during my
我看见
mother's
她
death
的脑袋里
anniversary
装满了
anymore.
红枣。
Every year goes by
啊，
smoothly.
实际上我的
Recently, I
养
dreamt
母
of my
去世呢
foster
是
mother again.
是因
In
为
my
跌
dream,
倒
she
啊，
died
跌
again.
倒以后，结果就造成
I
躯
saw
干。
her head was
那
filled
祈
with
请
red dates.
祈请
In
这个师
reality,
傅为我
my
解
foster
梦。
mother
我
died
梦中
from a
看到
fall.
养母
I
的
asked
脑袋
for
中的红
Grandmaster
枣
to
是
interpret my
什么
dream.
意思？
What does
我
it
的
mean
养
to
母
see the
得
red
到
dates in
解
my
脱了
foster's
吗？
mother's
感
head in
恩
the
师
dream?
傅。
Has my foster mother found liberation?
对，梦其实
Gratitude to
很神奇
Grandmaster.
哈。
对呀，
Dreams are mysterious.
你们觉得
What do you
他
guys
问的
think?
问题，他养母
Her foster
梦到
mother
死了，头
died
脑里
again
头都是
in her
红
dream
枣，
我
你觉
记
得
with
是
red
好
dates
还是不
filling
好？
her head.
首先
Do you
我还
think
是
it's
觉
good
得
or bad?
好，就趋向于好。
I think
因
it
为师
leans
傅以前
towards
有
good.
讲过，说这个往生的
Grandmaster
人在
mentioned
梦中
before
又往
that
生
if
呢，
a person someone who died dies again in a dream, it means that he's being reincarnated. And about red dates, they are quite festive. We like to eat them too. It's a good thing, isn't it, Master?
反正就是分判断的
Anyway,
感觉。
this is a subjective feeling.
我这从这个枣，一般我们对
Our
这个水果
impression
这个
of
枣的
this
印
food
象都是
is
正面的。
positive.
对，
But the
但是
point is that
关
it's
键这个
filled
枣它放
in
在你
the
的脑
brains.
子里头，哎，
啥意思呀？
也不太好。
it's not a good sign.
那我的感觉，我去感觉
So I
这件
feel
事情
that
的时候
maybe
其实对于
this
他们
family
家人会容易
is
出
prone
现
to
头
neurological
神经问题，
problems.
会出现这个。
哦，
就当时豆芽和牙
The
痛
bean sprouts
是父亲
and
母亲需要
toothache
帮助
indicated that
急需
her
帮
mother
助
needed help.
需要吃的东西
啊，对
嗯
对，是这样。 啊，所以这个梦到的这个枣，
So back to the red dates.
提醒后人。
对我每天的感觉不一样，反正我现在的感觉
Well,
就是
for now,
不是那么好，
I feel like it's
容易
not a
出
good
现精
thing.
神的，
哦，
所以
It could
要为
indicate
那么按照
neurological
经典的说
problems.
那就得为养母也好，为
As
你
we have
自
been
己也
saying,
好，
对，
Do
去
good
做功
deeds
德。
and
你
merits
在为别人做功德的
for
时候，你
others
也自身
and
难保，
yourself.
是怕是，
对，
所以还要为自己做点功德啊，看有没有孩子，在为孩子做功德。
You can
因为
also
这个
do
寓
good
意
deeds
不
for
一
your
定
children as well.
映在谁的身上，呈现出这个灾来，这样的，
对，哦，
就看你有多少家庭成员。
哦，
他倒没有说自
The
己
warning
有
might
孩
not
子，但是
just
他
apply
第
to
一个
you.
梦就是他
It
丈
could be
夫
for
梦见养
you
母的时
and your
候，
family.
在港口腿
She
上
didn't
坐着
mention
小
whether
女
she
孩
has a
在吹
child,
气，
but in her dream,
然后养母
the
的
first
牙
dream
痛
that her
啊，
husband had,
豆芽
her mother was at the
也
pot.
没有说那
A
个女
little
孩
girl was crying
和
on
她
her
什么
lap.
关系。
Her
他
mother
只
also
是
had a
描述当时
toothache
梦中的
and
景
wanted to
象，
eat bean
对，
sprouts. She didn't mention her relationship with that girl.
后
She
来
only mentioned that there was a crying girl.
牙痛又想吃东西，对吧？
对对，
This dream is
说
not a
当
good
时他是
sign.
等着审判，
Toothache and
是的，
craving for
对
food.
对
就是梦中
Her
那样，
mother
他正
was
港
waiting
口
for
在
judgment,
等待中，
对，
and there was another soul accompanying
所
her.
以这个他一起作伴的呢
They are
还有
waiting
别的
together.
灵魂，
So that crying little girl was
对，
definitely related to the family.
像那个他坐着那个所谓的哭泣的女孩儿，
对，
肯定和他们家有关
有
系，
关系。
但是已经死了。
But she's already dead.
好，就是文敦师姐还是自己好好
So
修，
Wen
为
Tun,
养母继续
Sister
做
Wen
功
Tun
德
should
而且为
continue
我
her
们在世的
practice
哈
and do
自己
merits
呀
for her
先生啊
mother.
后代呀哈，也是多做功
Your
德。
family should also do the same.
就要多想一下，
So
因
think
为有
more.
时候就像个哑谜，让你猜。
Sometimes
Eh.
a dream is like a riddle that makes you guess.
哦，一拍大腿知道，哦是这么一回事。
Sometimes things
对
just happen as they
不
should.
知道，就是。
You will
只
be,
能是四
oh,
处求
so
神
that's
拜
how
佛
it is.
他企图
I wouldn't
企
know
图得到
until
一
it
个
actually
保佑
happened.
对，避免以后的
You
这
could
种
only
不好的
pray,
事情发生，
hoping for a blessing,
消灾
so that you
避
can
难
avoid dreadful things.
好
Gratitude to
感恩师父来
Grandmaster for your
解答
guidance.
对，讲了这么详细的指导，
是
感恩师傅。
那我们也送给文敦师姐
Let's also
好
give
听吗
好，
Wen Tun,
好，
Sister, an auspicious prayer bead.
这挺好看的哈，
This one looks
这
pretty.
个样子。
很美。
好，祝福你文敦，
I wish you
希望你能够
success and
平安
prosperity.
成祥啊，佛菩萨保佑你。
I hope that you will meet
收到，
感恩
peaceful
师
end.
父。好，那
May
接下
Buddha
来是
and
网友
Bodhisattva
小
bless you.
带来的
Next
分
up is
享
an online
鬼交
viewer
战
called
来听
Xiao Ye.
尊敬的师傅您
Let's
好，
listen to his
我
story
是弟
about
子小
battling
叶。
with
自从进
ghost.
入农历7月以来，
Hello,
我
Grandmaster.
几乎
I'm
天
Xiao
天
Ye.
右眼跳。
Since entering the
农历
7th
7月
month of the
15日
lunar
凌晨，
calendar,
我
my
梦到
right eye
娘家的
twitches
佛堂竟
almost
然
every
一座
day.
佛菩萨像都没有了。
Every
只听
morning,
到我给母
early in the
亲播
morning on
放
the
的莲
15th
师
day
心
of the
咒的
7th
声
month,
音，梦
I
醒
dreamt
后
of
我
the
右眼又
ancestral
开始
temple at
跳。
home.
这些
There was
天，
not a
我为
single
我父
Buddha
母
or
的历代
Bodhisattva
祖先和
statue.
冤亲债主
I
分
only
别
heard the
供了
sound of
49条
myself
超荐灯，
chanting
也
the
为自
lotus
己的冤
mantra
亲
to my
债主
mother.
点了超荐灯，
After
同
waking up,
时也塑了
my
地
right
藏
eye
菩萨
started
金身，
twitching again.
并且以此
These
功德
days,
回向
I
给
did a
他们。
49 days
今天
light
午休的
offering
时
for my
候，我
parents,
梦到我住了一个
ancestors,
并不熟
and
悉，
karmic
但又好像
creditors.
是我住的房子
I
里，
also did it for
感
my
觉是
karmic
在等我
creditors.
前夫回来。
As I gilded the
我听
statue
到
of the
房
Earth
间
Store
吃饭
Bodhisattva,
的这个圆
I
桌上有
dedicated
奇
the
怪的
merit
声
to
音。
them.
梦
During
里
today's
我立
lunch
刻意识
break,
到是
I
鬼，
dreamt that I
但
went
是
to an
却看不到鬼的
unfamiliar
样子。
place,
然后
but it
这
feels
个鬼
like the
去卫
house I
生间
live in.
拿东西朝我
It
扔
feels
过来
like I was
攻击
waiting
我，
for my
还用
ex-husband.
淋浴喷头
I heard a
朝我
strange
喷
sound
水，
coming from
但
the
都没
dining
攻击
table.
到我身上。
In my dream,
然后
I
我就
realized
还
it was
击
a
他，
ghost, but I
而且
couldn't
这个
see
鬼
it.
还有点
Then
色，
the ghost
想
went to
对
the
我图
restroom
谋
and
不
threw
轨，
something at
但
me.
是我一直跟
It
他在斗
attacked
斗。
me and
后
even
来
sprayed
我
water
发
at me
怒
with
了，
a shower
拿了
head,
一把
but
扫帚
none
在
of them
餐
hit
桌上
me.
来回挥
So
舞，
I fought
到
back.
处的敲打。
And this
一
ghost was
响
a bit
声
perverted.
音就
It
终于
tried to
消失
get
了。
to me,
之后我
but
就
I
醒
kept
了，
fighting with
醒了
him.
以后右
Then
眼
I got
依然在
angry.
跳。
I grabbed a
这
broom
些
and
天
swung it
我一
back
直
and
在诵
forth
念
on the
莲师
dining
心
table, hitting everywhere. The strange sound finally disappeared, and then I woke up. After waking up, my right eye was still twitching. These days, I have been chanting the Guru Rinpoche Heart's mantra, the Earth Store Sutra, and the Earth Store mantra. I hope for Grandmaster's guidance. What do these two dreams mean? What should I do? Gratitude to Grandmaster. Both of these dreams are not very good, especially the first one, dreaming of the ancestral Buddhist hall, and all the statues have completely disappeared. There's not even one left. It is auspicious if we have blessings of Buddha and Bodhisattvas. If you don't have all these auspicious statues anymore, don't you think it's not good? Moreover, she also mentioned that after entering the 7th month of the lunar calendar, her right eyelid has been twitching constantly. In the folk belief, when the right eye twitches, it indicates misfortune. Anyway, it's not a good thing. The dream indeed does not bode well. In the second dream, she fought with ghosts and started a fight. The fight was so intense that they even started throwing things. The ghost took the shower head and sprayed it at her. Fortunately, none of them managed to hit her. She didn't get any of the water sprayed on her, and she bravely fought back. She even resisted the ghost's attacks. Finally, she defeated the ghost with a broom. After she woke up, her right eye was still twitching. This month has been exhausting for her. In the first dream, they lost their Buddha and Bodhisattva statues in the family Buddhist hall. What is that usually? It should say that there was too much resentment. The positive energy is not enough. In other words, inside her house, there is not enough positive energy. It might be inherently insufficient. The lack of positive energy. The debit creditors are now being revealed because of the family's positive energy is weak. This evil aura has become even more fierce and vigorous. Positive energy cannot hold the evil spirit. This is her first dream. And later she was fighting with a ghost in the dream. This is also the same problem. Fighting with ghosts actually exhausts oneself. Some people say that this is just a fight in the dreams. However, after fighting with ghosts, you will feel extremely exhausted, even feeling very uncomfortable. So when you say you fought with a ghost, do you really fight or was it just pretend? It sounds real. Generally, after waking up for a dream like this, one is exhausted, feeling totally weak and very frail. After fighting with the ghost, you will feel very tired all over your body. You might feel exhausted for the next 3 days. These are all not auspicious. It seems like they really fought. It's not a good idea to have a fight with ghosts. In other words, your energy is very weak at this moment. When you fight with ghosts, it also consumes a lot of one's energy. And after finishing, it actually depletes your yang energy. You see in these two dreams, one is a home lacking the positive energy. Secondly, Xiao Ye is lacking positive energy, and so in her family, they need to have something to anchor their house. A powerful Dharma treasure with strong energy. She should wear some protective Dharma items too, to protect her and to eliminate calamities, and to ward off evil spirits. What are your suggestions? Grandmaster, please recommend one, the most effective Dharma items to her. Regarding treasures, about warding off evil spirits and protecting homes, we have already launched many varieties. Look, those that can hang on the wall, especially this Mahakala deity Tanka. Although this Tanka is a reproduction, I believe the energy is extraordinary. Here is the Earth Store Bodhisattva Tanka from last year. This Tanka is from the Ming Dynasty. And later on, we have something special, the three-dimensional statues, such as the Mahakala deity, Guru Rinpoche. Yamadama Raja with sister, guardian. They are all about the demon slaying and capturing monster. Additionally, they are the victorious, joyful Vajra and the universal Vajra. The Dorje, Puba, and the Haryagriva, Bodhisattva. They are all part of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The Buddha manifests in a very fierce and ferocious appearance. They came to assist the sentient beings. This kind of talisman is used to ward off evil spirits, bring peace and tranquility to a home. In the beginning, they help practitioners with their cultivation to acquire greater wisdom and power when practicing the Dharma. However, in reality, we have discovered that for ordinary people who make offerings, will receive good protection from them. It is like this. These are important treasures to protect the household. And also remember to bring some Dharma items with you. Because everyone is different. Some people are just lucky. They don't have to bring anything, right? Both ghosts and humans are afraid of them. But others' energy might be weak. They may be hated and even beaten by both humans and ghosts. This is really helpless. Is there such a person? As soon as the energy weakens, they'll be invaded. If you are a girl and you have to walk in the dark road, you have to go to school early in the morning before dawn and walk 10 kilometers. Then you have no choice but to go, right? Do you have a weapon on you? It is fine to bring a fire stick at this time. You can even use a pepper spray to protect herself, or bring some tools or weapons to protect her. It is possible for people to carry self-defense items. In fact, it is like this. Today's society might be different. If we go back to 50 to 60 years, or even 100 years ago, when I was young, when I was in primary school, we have to walk through a forest, or also walk through a cornfield. In the 1990s, at that time, it really caught my attention. Have you ever encountered bad people? Fortunately, I haven't encountered them, but the bugs on the ground scared me. I was like dancing ballet to avoid them, tiptoeing to pass through. Sometimes I even encountered snakes before. We dare not walk on dark roads. We, a group of children, walk together while talking. We still have to cross a railway track. And our parents kept reminding us to look at both sides. Is there a train or something? Actually, it's quite scary to talk about it, to think about it. In other words, some people are not so strong. Some people look strong on the outside, but they are weak in the inside. They have bigger eyes, a longer stubble, and they are quite muscular. But there is emptiness inside, and they may also suffer from mental illness caused by spirit possession. The ghost has taken over their life. As a result, the ghosts reside inside the human body, so it's quite scary to talk about it. However, in fact, there is indeed quite a few of these matters, so you will need to have some wearable treasures that can be carried with you. You got to get one, you got to wear one. Even if it's made of wood, it's not heavy. There's the Vajra pestle and the Vajra peg. Now everyone can see it on the screen. There is the Vajra pestle and the Vajra peg, wooden ones and copper ones. I think this metal is also very good. There is another interpretation of the Vajra pestle. It is the weapon of the heavenly gods, so it's quite fierce. To avoid evil spirits, to ward off negative energies, being able to protect oneself, so everyone is different. If you need it, please go ahead and buy some. When we talk about the guardian power, actually, I made these beads myself. I personally bless these beads. First, I grind these peculiar medicinal herbs into powder and add them into these beads. It is for warding off evil spirits. And then I burn it well before giving it a blessing. I just hope that the medicines used here are effective. Of course, this thing should not be eaten. It is worn to ward off evil and bewitching curse. But what if I were to bless it? It may also help to avoid some other negative energy, ghosts, or other evil spirits. So what about the viewer, Xiao Ye? She's fighting with ghosts in her dreams. Wearing this bead will also bring a lot of blessings, right? Ghosts probably wouldn't dare to approach, right? I can only say perhaps. because there are various types of evil energy, just like how there are various body types. How will it help you in the end? Will it work especially well for you? I don't know. However, I'll give you this bead. This bead might be very effective for you. Grateful to Grandmaster. Good wishes to Xiao Ye for good health, longevity, and auspiciousness. Received. No more interference. Received. Grateful to Grandmaster. Next up is Xiao Xi's mother from the Los Angeles Meditation Center. The testimonial that was sent over is called Grandfather Trafficking Drugs. Hello, Grandmaster. I'm here to listen to your explanation on the Earth Store Sutra. Hearing from viewers around the world, sharing personal real-life experiences, I just realized that I'm not the most miserable. My child Xiaoxi is not the most miserable. Xiaoxi suffers from a mental illness. She often hears people talking to her, and the people here are not the kind of people that ordinary people like us can see. She said that she has been experiencing auditory and visual hallucination all along. She's tormented and almost dying. She's very scared. Often you will see Xiaoxi cursing at the air. Her face becomes angry and fierce. As soon as I saw her, I knew she was having another relapse. I quickly reminded her to take the medication. Xiaoxi's grandfather used to be involved in drug trafficking. It's possible that this business has been passed down to Xiaoxi. Xiaoxi's illness began when she was 26 years old. However, she herself said that she had suicidal tendencies since she was young. She doesn't want to live anymore. It has been nearly 10 years since then. She only believes in Western medicine and have tried many different medications, but none of them worked. I want to help her with the teachings of Buddhism, but she doesn't listen. When helping Xiaoxi with the blessing, I found that her head and scalp had patterns like walnuts. I didn't know if it's a manifestation of karma. Previously, I also asked a psychic, and the medium said that it was a karmic creditor. Those karmic creditors will have to wait until the time comes, and then they will leave Xiaoxi. Grandmaster once advised Xiaoxi to practice energy bagua every day. She also recommends to come to the meditation center to do volunteer work. She only did for cleaning for about a month. She hasn't been practicing energy bagua since then until now. I'm extremely worried. Under such pressure, Xiaoxi's biological father ignores her completely. He's unwilling to live with her. He even kicked Xiaoxi out of the house several times. When Xiaoxi was 16 years old, I had a very bad relationship with the father. She was once taken away by a social worker for protection. She didn't come back until she was 22 years old. Currently, only me and my current husband are willing to live with Xiaoxi. It sounds very relaxed. Only those who have truly experienced it knows the difficulties involved. I know Xiaoxi has heavy karma. It's difficult to reform. When I want to teach her the Dharma, I was often ignored by her and even argued with. As a result, our relationship becomes very bad, until I realized that I cannot focus on my attention on Xiaoxi. First and foremost, I must take care of myself. Under the guidance of Grandmaster, I must diligently cultivate my practice. Only then I can face her problems with wisdom. It is necessary to recite more Buddha's name, accumulate more merits, and to help her establish more good karma. I hope she can soon come into contact with Buddhism. The disciple humbly implores Grandmaster, and I hope Grandmaster can bless Xiaoxi. Whether she has mental illness or is chased by karmic creditors, I hope Xiaoxi can overcome these obstacles as soon as possible. Xiaoxi is very pitiful. Xiaoxi's mother is also very heartbreaking. Xiaoxi has often experienced auditory and visual hallucinations since she was young. She was engaging a dialogue with a certain form of life, making a fuss and cursing in thin air. She has a tendency towards suicide as well. So in a situation like hers, it is almost impossible to study and work normally, right? You can't even manage to get along normally. She can't do it. In other words, her basic self-care abilities might be very poor, not to mention serving others by using social skills. It is impossible. Her mother also mentioned that her grandfather used to be involved in drug trafficking. I want to ask you something. I used to watch Hong Kong movies 20 years ago. I often reminisce about that time. There were people involved in the drug trade. Vietnamese gangsters are here to sell a packet of heroin. The Hong Kong trail leader says, let's see if it's fake or genuine. It's our first trade. He took a knife and stabbed it forcefully. He took out a little bit of the powder. If you dare to participate in fraud, you are asking for trouble. They will know with one leak or one shot. They will know with one leak or one shot whether it's real. So first of all, he's a user. Drug dealers are definitely users, right? Xiao Xi's grandfather. Would a child be affected by you as a drug addict giving birth? Let's not talk about other harms for now. If you are one who took drugs, for example, if one of the parents is addicted to drugs, will it have a detrimental impact on the fetus? Research in medicine has discovered that, especially when a mother is addicted to drugs, it directly affects the child. During pregnancy, the fetus is prone to deformities, either have a miscarriage or give birth prematurely, or there's a very low birth weight at birth, which makes it difficult to take care of the baby. Children are more prone to emotional tantrums. There are also intellectual problems in all aspects. Even if born, it may be a disabled child, such as being blind, deaf, mute, or it can't walk, or limb development is incomplete, or internal organs are not fully developed. A series of countless terrifying outcomes are waiting for the mother who is addicted to drugs. It's very terrifying. Even if the child has a complete body, they may have intellectual disabilities or learning disabilities. How can the child succeed if they can't read? For a healthy couple, usually when consulting a doctor before pregnancy, the doctor will ask if you smoke or not. If so, please quit smoking and drinking. You have to quit all this. You need to exercise regularly and be happy. The pregnancy you're carrying at this time, maybe you're healthy enough to get pregnant. Even if you don't have these habits, it is not guaranteed you give birth to a healthy baby. Your drug addiction is destined to result in an unhealthy child. The more you took, the higher the disability rate. So for Xiao Xi's case, she's just a victim. Very pitiful. It is something done by her grandfather. As a result, it fell on the granddaughter. So this is a transmission of karmic debt. Apart from the transmission of karma, there's also the inheritance of genes. Her drug-addicted grandfather will pass this gene to even the grandchildren. Furthermore, the business of drug dealings is very harmful. This is how it is in the industry. Really bad karmic. Xiao Xi's situation is not too bad in terms of karmic debt. How can we save them? It is too difficult for Xiao Xi's mother. The result is terrifying. So everyone should not conduct bad deeds. That's what the Buddha tells us, to refrain from doing these things. Especially, do not do harmful acts. In today's society, gambling and drug addiction are prevalent. Now we are asking everyone, do not steal, do not kill, do not do drugs, do not gamble. That's right, don't drink excessively, and it's best not to smoke either. Don't acquire these bad habits. None of them is good for your body, and they are all wasteful. If one's own health is not good, it will bring harm to the future generations. In Xiao Xi's case, this child is actually innocent. What kind of mischief can the child do? But he suffered from this punishment, and his mother suffering together with him. So one generation involved in drug dealing, the karmic debts affects several generations. Some may even lead to the destruction of your own family and clan. Anyway, it's very terrifying. Do not do these things. However, facing a situation like Xiao Xi, her mother is worried. Xiao Xi's mother is normal, because her mother is someone who is married into the family. Later on, the mother realized that she cannot put all her focus on Xiao Xi. Later, she realized that it is not possible. She must first ensure her own physical health is in good condition. Otherwise, she'll be dragged down and be completely exhausted. This is very likely. Xiao Xi's mother realized that she's being dragged down.
也已经扛不住了。
She can't bear it anymore. This is really
它
tough.
最终的这样
She led to the final thought.
对
She has done a great job of
对
self-rescue
所以为什么
and
之前就是说
self-protection.
嘱咐小溪去禅堂
So what is recommended before?
是
Recommending Xiaoxi to go to the meditation center
不
to
管是
do
哄着也
volunteer
好
work.
还是吓
If
唬
she
着也
does
好
not know how
让
to
她
do
去
other
做这个
volunteer
事情
work,
她
she can
多积一
clean.
份德。
真的
这
对自己
佛光普照，
都好
他说他的改变就可能是每天10%就产生。
Whether it's coaxing
所
or
以想方设
intimidating,
法让他去做。
try to get her to come and
对不对？
accumulate more
等待哪儿
merits
我们
and
的禅
virtue.
堂也背这种
If
责
the
任
Buddha's light
是吧？
shines
说实
upon
在
her,
话，真让
her
他干活受
transformation
用，
could be
他引来的
10%
事儿还
every
更
day.
多。
是
就我们担着
So
这
we
个责
tried
任
every
还来做
possible
这
means
是
to
为
let
了
her
救
do it, right?
所以这个小溪
In fact,
或者
our
类似这样
meditation
的
center also
朋
bears
友
the
能够去禅
responsibility.
堂，
Making
我
her
给
to
你
do
机
work
会去
actually may
做，
attract
你
even
就
more
认
trouble
办
for the
服了，
center.
你就得救的机会就
We
来
bear the
了，
responsibility.
知道吗？
We let her do
你能够
volunteer
在
work in order to
我们
save
当中
her.
做一
So
份小
Xiaoxi
的
and
贡
others
献，
similar to
才
her,
能活菩
we
萨
give
这
you the
样一切。
opportunity to go to the meditation center.
对，
If you acknowledge this opportunity, your chance for salvation will come. Do you know? If you make a small contribution within a Buddhist community, perhaps the Buddha will grant you
妈
liberation.
妈的教学方法也
Xiaoxi's
对，
mother wants to teach her
所以
the
孩
Buddhist
子这个
teachings
情
that
况，
Grandmaster
你
has
就不可
taught,
能拿本经
but
书给他说，
Xiaoxi just can't
而是说
listen.
你
So
就
the
来
mother
干这个
feels
活，而
that
且我
it's
带着你一
better
起
to
做，
diligently
有
follow
兴的做，
Grandmaster
哄
and
着来。
cultivate
这
oneself
孩子首
first.
先觉得，哎，这有兴趣，这好玩儿，
There are also
他
issues
也
with
有
the
这种
mother's
成就
teaching
感，
methods.
对不对？
Regarding the
他不是
situation
说
of the
他
child,
他有
it
荣
is
耀，对不
impossible
对？
to give her a
这有
scripture
成
book
就
and
感，
explain it to her.
这个妈妈还
Instead,
有咱们
you
禅
come
堂
to
工
do
作
this
人员
job,
要
and
有
I will
这
do
样
it
一
for
种
you.
非常非常慈悲的心肠，要
Playfully
带着这
coaxing
样
to
的
do it.
小朋友
The
哈。
child finds it
我为什么介绍
interesting
去
and
禅堂？
fun.
我们是
She
为了
also
帮
receives
他
a sense of
所以
accomplishment,
我
right?
们要有足够的耐
She is
心
not
和
silly.
善
She
巧的
also
方法，
has a sense of
让这孩
pride,
子
right?
乐意来，
She needs to have a sense of
是吧？
accomplishment
就
to be
有些有年龄
satisfied.
的人，我也
This
是，哎，
mother is
叫
also
他
one
做
of
义
our
工吧。
meditation center
我们缺这么一个
staff
老人家做
members.
活吗？
不会
不
It
缺
is
啊，这都为
important to
了
have
帮
such a
他。
very, very
所以有的
compassionate
时候我
heart
们自己，
to
对
accompany
我
along
我的
with
车
such a
让人
child.
先洗了好几遍了都，
Why am I
实
introducing
在
going
没
to the
没活儿说你
meditation
你再
center?
洗车
We
吧，
are doing it to help her.
这都是
So
希
we
望
need to
让
have enough
大
patience.
家
A
有
kind
那
and
么一份
skillful
功
approach
夫，
makes children
哎，
willing to
就是这
come.
样。
Some
对，
people
也
are
是用这
older,
样
and
的
I'm
方
one
法。
of them.
所以的话，
Come to the
小溪妈
meditation
妈
center and
有一种
volunteer.
方法，
Do we need an
反正我
elderly
们
person
禅
to
堂
do
的
this job?
这所有
No,
的员
this is
工
to
朋
help
友
her.
们都要学会
So
去
sometimes
照顾，要无限的宽
my
容
car has been
照顾
washed
的
several
每
times in
位
one
做义
day.
工的朋友。我们是为了
Since
救
there's really no work to do, you can wash my
好吧？
car for me.
那
This is
这
all in
今
the
天呢，
hope of
给这个
allowing
小
someone
溪
to have a
这小
share
溪
of
的妈妈，
merits.
每个人
So
生
this
一
is
个
how
心
it
法
is.
啊。
So in this case, Xiaoxi mothers also need to find the right methods. All the staff in our meditation center must learn to
这
take
个
care of each
我们做
other
了一个
to have
有个小模具
infinite
哈，
tolerance and
是老
care.
虎头的
Those who
啊，
come to
这
do
给小溪
volunteer
戴
work, we are
啊，
trying to do this to
当个
save
绳
her,
挂在
right?
胸前就可以
So
哈。
today we're going to give
对，
them
就
some
给小
gifts.
溪
Each person
这个
receives
红
a
珠子
prayer
给妈妈
beads.
啊，
Grateful to Master.
还挺
We
大
have
的，
made a
都是
small
黄
mold
的
for
哈。
this. It's a tiger head, and this is for Xiaoxi to wear.
嗯，
Just wear a robe
好，
and hang it
祝
around your
福小
chest.
溪和妈妈哈，
This red
都
bead
能
is for
健
the
康
mom.
快乐，
That's
早日
great.
康复。
It looks good and they match
感恩师
quite
傅。
well. Both are in red.
那师傅接下来
Thank you,
想跟您
Grandmaster.
分享来自新加
Wishing
坡的
Xiaoxi and
吴
her
汉
mother a speedy recovery
他
to
的
be
一个
healthy
故事
and
叫
happy
祖
soon.
国的爸爸。
Next, we have a
他
man
说
from
师傅好，
Singapore
在我有记忆以
called
来，
Chuan
爸爸和
Hon.
妈妈的感情就不
His
好。
stories is
爸爸
about
很好
the
斗，
gambling
也不
father.
顾家，
Hello,
整天在
Grandmaster.
家里待着
For as long
工
as I
作，
can
还常
remember,
常和
my
妈妈
parents have
要
a strained
钱。记
relationship.
得有一次，
My
大
father is
楼上
addicted to
门找爸
gambling
爸，
and
要他还
neglects his
钱，
family.
还把我们
He
家的
stays at
门
home
和
all day
墙
without
都给
working,
画花了。
often
我
asking
有
my
个
mother
哥哥，
for money.
我们年龄相差
I
8岁，
remember there
我
was
小
one
哥哥
time
就不爱
a
和
loan
我
shark
玩，
came to the
有时
door
还
looking
欺
for my
负我，把
father,
我当
demanding
沙
for
包打。
repayment.
爸爸
They
常
painted
常欺负
our
妈妈，
doors and walls of our house. I have an older brother who is 8 years older than me. Since I was little, my older brother never liked playing with me. Sometimes he would bully me and treat me like a punching bag. My dad often bullies my mom. If my mom doesn't give him money, he will scold her and throw things randomly. When this happens, my mom will call me to go to my room and close the door. Once upon a time, my dad woke up in the middle of the night, holding a kitchen knife, randomly chopping things in the kitchen. It scared me to death, and since that evening, I was put a wooden stake by my bedside I told myself, when danger occurs, I must rush out to protect my mother. I was 17 years old when my parents divorced. Originally, I thought I could lead a relatively stable life. How would I know that my brother had nasal cancer when I was 26 years old? My life changed once again. My older brother underwent chemotherapy at that time. It took 1 or 2 years to recover slowly. However, after a few years, the side effects of the medication emerged. His left ear, left eye, and nose became completely lost the functions. Gradually, he cannot work anymore. One day, when I was 29 years old, my older brother received a phone call saying that my father has passed away. We need to quickly go and settle the funeral arrangements with our father. Later, we got to know that my father got into fights with people because of drinking alcohol and he was charged. After that, he chose to end his life by suicide. I remember my mother mentioning to me before that my grandfather also died from suicide. Since my mother took me away from home at the age of 17, I've never seen my father again. And 4 years after my father passed away, unfortunately, my mother has been diagnosed with breast cancer. After battling the disease for 2 years, she also passed away. I remember being mischievous when I was a child. When adolescence came, one became rebellious. I learned gambling and smoking and often returned home late at night. I also love to be stubborn with my mother. My behavior has caused my mother a lot of troubles and worries, but my mother never gave up on me. She kept advising me and often tells me that I don't need to be too good at academic performance or great abilities, as long as I can learn to be sensible and compassionate and kind, and do not waste my life. Fortunately, my mother practices Buddhism and follows a vegetarian diet, so she always uses Buddhism to aspire and teach me, reason with me. She does not use physical punishment to make me obedient. Therefore, I deeply respect my mother, and she often takes me to the temple to worship and teach me to recite the mantra of the Buddha. I started to eat vegetarian when I was 30 years old and have continued until now. Grandmaster, my mother was also your disciple, and also became a disciple at the age of 35. I was especially grateful to this affinity, understanding Buddhism, learning about Grandmaster. Otherwise, I really can't imagine how to go through when my mother was passing away. Actually, when my mother fell ill until her passing, I've always carried the responsibility of taking care of my older brother. In 2018, my older brother suffered from a severe case of pneumonia. At that time, he was admitted to ICU and had many tubes inserted. One evening, the doctor said, "It might not be possible to get through tonight." Sisters in Bodhi Meditation Center offered light for my older brother. I also offered light and chant for my older brother. So the miracle happened. My older brother suddenly got better. I was truly grateful to Buddha and Bodhisattvas for blessing and protecting from Grandmaster, which helped my older brother to get through this difficult situation. But now, my older brother has become a different person. He constantly asks his friends for money, deceive them by saying that he needs money to purchase necessities, but in fact, these are not facts at all. My brother and I has been living together for all these years. I moved out this year because I could no longer tolerate. I also have frequent bouts of epilepsy. It has caused me to develop anxiety disorder and acid reflux, frequent headaches, stomach aches, and anxious mood. All these are affecting my daily life and it's impossible to work properly. I've been constantly engaging in acts of merit, especially after the passing of my mother. I've always tried to do good deeds with my capabilities. All the sponsorship online is for Grandmaster. I've done it in the name of my ancestors, my father and my mother. May I ask Grandmasters for guidance? In the days to come, with my older brother follow the footsteps of my grandfather and father, please teach me, Grandmaster, what I should do. Gratitude, Grandmaster. When we first heard of Xiaoxi's mother from Los Angeles because of their grandfather dealing drugs, Xiaoxi is truly in a pitiful state. And now this is a story from Singapore. His father was a gambler. It is truly heart-wrenching to see how much his son has suffered. We listened to him talking about his family one by one. They start to have problems. Both the grandfather and father committed suicide, and then this elder brother fell seriously ill at a young age. First, it was nasal cancer, and later on, this led to the functionality of his left side being completely lost and he cannot work. Another severe pneumonia caused him to be hospitalized again and he almost died. Fortunately, the lights were offered. But what lies behind all these flaws? Next, he was borrowing money to gamble. When he left the hospital, he started deceiving people, deceiving friends for money and telling lies. What is this? It sounds chaotic. What should she do? This little sister is very pitiful. Because both of her parents has passed away, she has to take care of her older brother, and finally she can't bear it anymore and she moved out. It's a bit like Xiao Xi's mother who cannot stand it anymore. Her older brother is not following the right path. In fact, his illness hasn't recovered yet. It is impossible for nasopharyngeal cancer to be cured. It is another problem, borrowing money from others for the purpose of gambling. Is this a genetic inheritance? Yes, it is possible, but it's also due to one's own karma. Everyone has their own karma. I also think that there's genetic inheritance. And this younger sister is so worried about his brother ending up like his father and grandfather. Will he also commit suicide? We dare not say this, but we are truly worried. However, it's really indeed worrisome. Gambling involves drug use. It is quite annoying, to be honest, and it's also troublesome once you become addicted. And once a person starts gambling and doing drugs, he especially deceives his loved ones and never a word of truth again. Whenever he has money, he doesn't use it himself. He gives it all away by gambling. He even thinks it's reasonable to give it to someone else by this way. And if he wins, he will realize that he will only give himself a treat. He will go eating and drinking. He wouldn't even repay his gambling debts, let alone others. He has borrowed money from relatives and friends, but never repays them. He satisfies his own appetite first. Yes, that's exactly how it is, right? It is really difficult to save him. In my childhood, I've encountered people like him. One of my neighbor's older brothers was like that, and it really makes me feel disgusted. Our family was already very poor, and yet he still comes and cheats my dad for money. It's simply lack of morals. He will say that he took his mom to see the doctor. He needs to buy her medicine. He seems like a filial son, but he actually took the money and went gambling. We asked his mom, and she said she wasn't sick. We couldn't find his guy for several days. He was a cheater. That's how it is. I really look down on people like this. He never speaks the truth. Very detestable. What makes you want to help him? Helping people like him only enable him to learn bad habits. Helping him to go to hell. So never help this kind of person. Never lend money to gamblers or drug addicts. If you lend them money, how will they pay you back? Even if they are out of food, you'll be kind enough to buy them a hamburger. Just don't give them cash. Don't give them money. In Vancouver, many people are like this. They will find an excuse to ask for money from passerbys. They don't even accept food. They will say, I'm not vegetarian, I want meat. Or, I'm vegetarian, I don't eat meat. They can be so picky. Actually, they just want money to buy drugs. They act like they need money. So every line has their own tricks. What would they do to earn money? A big young guy, dressed neatly, he lies on the roadside with newspaper. And if they can't earn money, they'll get a dog. Then many people give money. I say Canadians are so gentle. These are all cheaters. But honestly, if they need help, we'll help. But if they are cheating people, we shouldn't help. Helping those people is like helping them to go to hell. So I think it's right for her to move out. Your brother's case is unresolvable. This is this thing about karmic fate. Sometimes siblings in the families are like this. There's one who is a Buddha and there's one who is a demon. They live their lives in totally different ways. They are born together in life, yes? So in the case of Quan Han, it is especially rough fact, a lesson to learn. Just be a good person, improve yourself, and that's enough. You can't control your brother. You are seriously ill yourself. He deceives people. His brain is not working well. When he's lucid, he cheats and gambles. Is there anything good about him? Does he deserve the title of an elder brother? There's a demon born into the family. What can you do with a demon? So there's no way. You can only move out by yourself. After that, focus on your cultivation, and that's be the best version of yourself. Because there's a family karma ahead of you, and you have seen the circumstances. So focus on your cultivation. If you have a basic normal life, that will be good. Gratitude to Master, Grandmaster for your guidance. As your parents' child, you bear that karma. You have to be careful. It's not easy. Grandmaster, how about giving her a prayer bead for protection? Let me give her a bead to her brother instead, okay? Even though I said those hurtful words, I also want to help if possible. I really hope I can help. Gratitude to Grandmaster for your compassion. There's no problem with Quan Han. But Quan Han's brother, he needs to stop gambling. You have a health problem yourself. Just focus on living well and taking care of yourself. Look at how pitiful your sister is. Think about your ancestors. So take some time to think about it. May Buddha's light protect the both of you. May everything go well and be auspicious. Gratitude to Grandmaster. Let's listen to a joyful sharing from Malaysia. Lai Mao. He said, "Greetings, Grandmaster. Disciple Lai Mao is from Longche Meditation Center in Malaysia. I have a friend who lived in the northern part of Malaysia. And 2 weeks ago, my friend had a dream. In the dream, he was chased relentlessly by 3 evil men. In the end, he was caught by one of the evil men. And just as the man was about to kill him with a knife, he woke up in fright. And then my friend closed his eyes and tried to get back to sleep. The dream came back still intact and recurring. This time, when the big sword swung towards him again, suddenly, my friend thought of me. And then the dream disappeared in an instant. The nightmare came to an end because I taught him energy bagua and reminded him, after returning back to North Malaysia, he must persist in his practice. He really took it to heart. So when faced with such dangers, he think of me. I speculate that it might be because I practice Grandmaster's teaching, so I can help him. So what happened after he had this dream? I advised him to offer lights for his ancestors and for his enemies and karmic debtors for the past lives. He should also practice generously and make offerings. May I ask Grandmaster, what is the meaning behind this dream of my friend? Is my guidance correct, Grandmaster? I prayed for Grandmaster's guidance and expressed gratitude. And also, there's another story about offering light, which I want to share with Grandmaster. My other friend owns an independent luxury mansion. He has been vacant for 4 years and it cannot be sold even when he wants to. Even the selling price is lowered, we cannot find a buyer. I found out about that in May this year. I suggest that he offer lights for the foundation master, which is the Earth God, for 7 days. The Earth God is quite popular in Malaysia. It refers to the soul of the previous owner of his house, right? Is that what it means, Grandmaster? I think it's actually the Earth God. For the foundation master, my friend offered light for 7 days. On the 6th day, a miracle happened. The agent brought a Malay to see the house, and they liked the house so much. When they saw it, they paid the deposit. Actually, for Malays to buy a Chinese home, it is not that easy. What's even more surprising is that the price of this house is 20,000 higher than the one next door. 3 months later, the bank loan was successfully approved. My friend is extremely grateful to Grandmaster. He has also started learning life principles from Grandmasters online, the philosophy of life, and principles of Buddhism. He is very, very grateful to Grandmaster. It is quite satisfying to help others in this way. Very happy, very contented. So 2 stories. The first one is about having a nightmare. Lai Mao's friend had a nightmare. The villain's big knife was being swung down. As a result, his friend thought of him, Lai Mao, and then his nightmare came to an end. The dream ended, which was great. And then Lai Mao thought to himself, "It is because I'm a disciple of Grandmaster. I carry the positive energy from Grandmaster, right?" Yes, that's the same reason. Because all our fellow practitioners have a compassionate and virtuous mind and practice diligently. It is the magnetic field in everybody's body. It is very strong and has merits. So, speaking of evil spirits, if you cultivate yourself well, just like your fellow practitioners, you wouldn't encounter those things. If someone comes and seeks help from you, your energy, merits, and magnetic field will help to eliminate some problems for them. That's great. It's indeed like this. He also wants to ask on behalf of his friend, who is being chased by the villain. This kind of dream has even a blade swung down. What's the meaning behind this dream? If we simply talk about this dream, there can be many speculations. Anyway, it's not good. A nightmare. Who was chasing him in this dream? Just 3 villains. 3 villains. He just had this dream. and then he was about to be chased and killed. He woke up just as the villain swung the blade, and then he closed his eyes again. The dream continued from where it was left off. Just as the blade was about to come down, and at the moment he thought of Lai Mao, this dream continued without interruption. But I think Lai Mao's guidance against this dream is good. He immediately asked his friend to go offer light to those karmic creditors, ancestors for generations past and such. Usually it's the karmic creditors holding the knife. In reality, there's no love or hate without reason in this world. So in situations like this, for example, if your friend worships a statue at home, even a small statue with an angry expression might be effective, and he wouldn't have this kind of dreams anymore, right? Once a big Vajra is placed there, there shouldn't be any issues. The karmic creditors will not be able to enter the house at all. It's like this. He gives you the protection and the blessings. Speaking of the house, if the statue is big enough, the house and its surroundings will be bathed in Buddha's light. Any evil spirit won't enter. Only that will work. Anyone has more nightmares? Anyone can have nightmares, you know. It doesn't mean every nightmare has a real meaning. And when they occur repeatedly, some do have meanings. So we need to analyze the situation of this dream. Okay, gratitude to Grandmaster. His dream is still okay. Anyway, he got some help. They turned bad luck into good luck and even sold the house. Light offering is good. Afterwards, the house was quickly sold. The price is even higher than the neighbors by 20,000. It's higher than he imagined, right? People from other ethnicities came to buy. The deal went well, and thank you for the light offering. This is a blessing and do more good deeds. As a result, his neighbor also came to listen to Grandmaster's teaching. It really works. It's great. Alright, let's also give them a prayer bead. Sure, we'll give one to Lai Mao and his friends. The one who has dreams, and the friend who has sold the house. 3 prayer beads. I wish you good health and longevity, happiness and good luck. I believe all 3 of them are watching the live broadcast. They should be so happy and full of joy. They are blessed. Alright, we'll share another story with Grandmaster from another Xiao Lan. Respected Grandmaster, it's the first time writing to you. I feel very agitated. I have so much to say, but I don't know where to begin. I'm so grateful to you, Grandmaster, for changing my destiny. To talk about my connection with Bodhi, I have started when I was very young. I was born in the 1880s, and in the 90s, when Grandmaster was teaching the Dharma, I was fortunate to be exposed to the teachings of Bodhi at home. At that time, I followed my mother, uncle, uncle's wife, and aunt to practice together. But I was still young at that time. It was more like following the trend and learning. I didn't practice hard enough, but now I understand that Master has planted a seed of Buddhism in me. In 2003, I was admitted to university. In our family, I was the first child to be admitted to a prestigious university. I was very lucky. However, during the health checkup for the start of the school year, I discovered that I have tuberculosis. It felt like a bolt from the blue at that moment. I was completely dumbfounded because I did not show any symptoms related to tuberculosis in a daily life. I didn't give up and went to several major hospitals for further examinations. The results were all the same. There was a 1 millimeter lesion in my lung. I had to drop out from school and go home to start treatment. My family is from the rural areas and our finances were poor. Tuberculosis is also a contagious disease. My parents not only took care of me, and they were also worried about how the people in the village might say or spread rumors. It might affect my future marriage and having children. At that time, my aunt came to my house and said, I can meditate with her and a few other fellow practitioners for 7 days. After the 7 days meditation retreat, I went home. Just seeing those pills made me want to vomit. I secretly threw them away. Later, I went for a re-examination. However, they couldn't find the original lesion, no matter what. The doctor said there was no signs of tuberculosis. Even when I returned to school, they did not give me a rehabilitation certificate. The medication treatment for tuberculosis causes calcification spots on the lungs. The doctor said my lungs are smooth. It didn't look like a recovery from tuberculosis. After graduating from graduate school, I found a job related to my profession. I also met my husband and have 2 lovely daughters. Life is very happy now. I'm extremely grateful to the blessings from Grandmaster. For various reasons, over the years, I've never received any news from Grandmaster until April this year. I started learning the Earth Store Sutra through my friend's introduction. At that time, I was thinking, it would be great if I could hear Grandmaster's teaching, because I used to hear them when I was young. I feel that Grandmaster's teachings are very profound and clear. The so-called all wishes come true, and that's it. By the end of April, I was fortunate enough to receive a download link for Grandmaster's app. At the moment I heard Grandmaster's voice, I felt immensely happy. The kind of happiness and joy is incomparable to anything else. From then on, I have been using my phone to learn from Grandmaster. I watched almost every live stream. I also followed Grandmaster's chanting class. And for my mother, husband, 2 daughters, and the daughter of my eldest brother, I offered lights. I even apply some principles of Grandmaster's teachings to help one of my friends. I have a friend who is a monk. In the past 6 months, both his parents passed away. Moreover, none of them was even 70 years old. His mother was paralyzed from 56 after a stroke before passing away. His father passed away suddenly due to a heart attack. He finds it difficult to accept this. He has practiced Buddhism so hard and shared so many merits with his parents. Why hasn't he received good things in return? He called me in the middle of the night. I thought of Grandmaster's teaching. Sometimes the karmic debtors of ancestors is too heavy. It can affect future generations. It is also due to past life causes and present life effects on karma. Present life causes, future life effects. I told him a lot. They were all teachings I heard from Grandmaster, combined with my own understanding. After the talk, he felt that many of the understandings were even more profound than his. He said, I became a monk to devote fully to Buddhist practice. You are not a monk, and you understand so much more. He said, as a monk, cultivating himself in the monastery, he is not as enlightened as I am. I think it's because I've encountered a truly good master. I feel a bit proud. Gratitude to Grandmaster. Gratitude to Bodhisattvas. You have given me a happy life. This is very good news. She's a little Bodhisattva. Since she was very young, she learned from her elders and Grandmaster, and she was clearly benefited. She's the first child in her family to be admitted to the prestigious university. But unfortunately, she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. The whole village and her parents and her family were afraid of the contagiousness of the tuberculosis. In the future, her work and her relationships will all be affected. As a result, she attended the 7-day meditation retreat, and then she could no longer find the source of its illness, to the point that where the tuberculosis in her lungs have healed, leaving no calcified spot. Yes, it's great for her. Both her lungs are smooth. She never had tuberculosis in the first place. The doctors couldn't provide her with a recovery certificate, and that's just that good. She went to so many hospitals for checkup before, and everyone said that there was a 1 millimeter lesion. In the end, it just completely disappeared. After finishing the meditation retreat, he couldn't be found at all, and there was no trace. The doctors were all puzzled that there was no trace of illness left. And after that, life went smoothly and everything was good. She shared another story about guiding her monk friend about life. Her friend is a monk, and he is impressed. I'm dedicated to Buddhist practice in a monastery, and I don't see life so thoroughly as you do. You are a circular person. It's because we have Grandmaster. Honestly, if I were her, I would feel proud too. It's just wonderful. Anyway, I will feel that everyone can understand what I say. It should be understandable to anyone. I want to talk to everyone about Buddhism, about being a good person. So after that, you apply what you have learned. This is the greatness of Grandmaster. We all understand that. That's great. As long as you understand, we can even enlighten others. So he could never stop nightmares, which is good. Our Bodhi disciples are amazing. Let's give Xiaolan a prayer bead. So these 2 beads are beautiful. Next up is Xuan Xuan, who is also bring us a testimony. A surprise brought by an incense burner. Grandmaster, I've acquired an incense burner with my mystical these motives. The daughter of a fellow practitioner wants to have another child and has been over a year and she hasn't gotten pregnant. The practitioner also told me that her daughter has irregular menstrual cycles. How can her daughter get pregnant then? And then I thought, oh, my fellow practitioner needs a treasure more than I do. So I gave her the incense burner. And she gave the incense burner to her daughter. What happened next was unexpected. Soon after the incense burner arrived at the daughter's place, her period came and the cycle became normal. Shortly after that, she was found to be pregnant in a checkup. I heard from Grandmaster's blessing that the incense burner will give its owner a fragrant home, prosperous descendants, and good wealth. Truly grateful to Grandmaster's words of wisdom. Gratitude to Grandmaster for filling the wishes and desires of all sentient beings. And then later on, I welcomed the double dragon incense burner home. There are also treasures like the double ear copper incense burner and so on. After welcoming the incense burner, my own particularly introverted son also found a girlfriend. I'm truly overjoyed. Gratitude, Grandmaster, for your compassionate vow. May Buddha's light shine upon us. I'm genuinely happy for her. Truly happy. That's great. Actually, this Dharma sister is very kind-hearted. She likes the treasure very much, but when she sees someone else in greater need, she gives it to that person. Because such treasures are hard to come by, right? Even if you have the money, you can't get it. But luckily, I happen to have it here. See how effective it is? Look at her. She can't possibly conceive at that case. It has been over a year and she hasn't gotten pregnant. As soon as she got the incense burner, she got pregnant. She got pregnant very quickly. A child was sent. The incense was burning brightly. What a coincidence, right? The Dharma sister who gave the incense burner is very kind-hearted. She gave it because the other person needs it more. She bought a new incense burner home, and her child benefited from it. Her introverted son found a girlfriend. I'm happy for her. It's really good. So now everyone knows what the incense burner is for, right? The family's incense continued to burn brightly, passing on the family line. It also means prosperity, whether in careers or descendants, flourishing and prosperous. Gratitude to Grandmaster. It's great. So let's give Xuan Xuan a precious bead. Give her 3 beads, alright? The person she has helped out, the one who is pregnant, herself, and her son too. I dare not think too much, otherwise there's a whole big family. Okay, let's give her 6. Xuan Xuan will continue to pass on the treasures. Who will she give them to? The son's girlfriends, right? And the girlfriend's mom? And even the mother-in-law is included. The in-laws are included. Okay, a few more. Okay, next we have Fang Chan from Malaysia, who would like to share with Grandmaster a story of how Grandmaster grounded the soul and drove away evil spirits. Hello Grandmaster, my mother's name is Fang Xi. In 2015, she went to China to visit relatives. She paid respects to some deceased family members in the relatives' ancestral hall. At that time, a cold wind was blowing and it felt chilly. She felt the chills in her bones, but my mother didn't take it seriously. She stayed with the relative for a few days. When it's time to go home, she felt something was wrong. She felt uncomfortable all over. When my mother returned home in Malaysia, she felt cold all the time, to the point that she shook a lot from top to toe. She had bad complexion. She stared at people non-stop. My sister-in-law knows a Lama and showed the Lama my mother's photo. The Lama said that something was not right. An evil energy is in my mother's body. But the Lama couldn't help my mother. My mother still felt very uncomfortable, and after that we went to ask the gods. In Malaysia, when people have difficulties, they will go and seek the gods for opinion. So we asked, and she said that many spirits were possessing her. Then we went to pray for my mother. After praying, she felt better, but just from time to time. At that time, I thought, maybe it's just about how people get when they are old. I started practicing Bodhi meditation in 2019. My mother participated in a one-day meditation session held at the meditation center. When she attended the retreat, my mother felt very uncomfortable all over her body. Her hands and feet was cold and stiff. During the one-day meditation course, Grandmaster shared energy and blessings. After receiving the blessings, my mother became warm all over. After receiving the blessings, my mother became warm all over. My mother also learned the meditation of greater illumination at the meditation center. After returning home, She persisted in practicing the meditation of greater illumination, and then she kept participating online, the chanting and the group practice with Grandmaster. Gradually, my mom's health improved, and it got better by the day. Once, she followed Grandmaster's live streaming. When Grandmaster was giving everyone a powerful blessing for the souls, my mother felt something run out of her body. It feels like a Hakka couple. We are Hakka. The village my mother visited was also a Hakka village. My mother felt that there was an elderly Hakka couple, and after they slipped out of her body, my mom felt very relaxed. Her complexion also changed and became very radiant. There's one thing. At that time, my mother was also disturbed by evil energy after my brother-in-law passed away in 2019. My mother often felt that my brother-in-law was still at home. She even saw other deceased people at home. It was until later when my mother started group practices that such a situation never occurred again. Gratitude to Grandmaster. This happened when worshipping ancestors. Your mother brings back the old souls from the ancestral home. An elderly Hakka couple was brought back from China to Malaysia. This is kind of rare though. You worship ancestors and you attract some old souls, and this has made the whole family very restless. How could the old mother withstand such negative energy? It's a bit strange. Grandmaster has powerful blessings for the soul. You said it's strange illness, she sees it for herself. And Hakka couple ran out of the body. Grandmaster has properly settled these souls. Gratitude to Grandmaster. The souls went to the wrong place. What were the two elders doing there? Why would they enter someone else's body? Why were traveling around Malaysia for no reason? So before that, they actually seek advice from the Lama and consulted the deities, but they didn't receive any help or assistance. The ultimate and complete assistance was only found with Grandmaster. Grandmaster possessed extremely powerful spiritual abilities. In fact, when Grandmaster performs the powerful ritual of grounding the spirit online, many people benefit greatly from it. The phenomenon of lost souls is painful beyond description. Neither Western medicine or traditional Chinese medicine can treat it, and no one can. Actually, it's such a thing. The proportion of lost souls is actually quite high. Losing your soul is similar to losing money. Some people, they don't even know where their souls are. Their souls are scared away or lost. And if you don't find the souls and bring them back safely, they will always be drowsy. Every day will be messy. It's as if they are losing a part of their brains, and they can't even do their jobs well. They'll feel exhausted and lack of energy. But once their souls are settled again, they'll feel rejuvenated as if they are different people. It's really amazing. And their eyes will become bright and everything changes. So after losing their souls, many other symptoms may emerge, and some are very terrifying. There are people who lose their souls, they start to commit murder. So there are all kinds of situations. It means they are mentally abnormal. People who lose their souls severely will die. So in most severe cases, the grounding spirit with blessing is extremely important and precious. In fact, our viewers have always this kind of need. Many of them have this need. And like last year, I remember during the beginning of the year around the Qingming festival, Master has been helping people. He has helped the souls immensely. Gratitude to Grandmaster. All of our online friends are very lucky and to have this opportunity. The Grandmaster has recorded the spirit grounding blessing and created a video of this. The official video is now on our website, on the site of Bodhi Meditation College. It is called Spirit Grounding, and it's this one. To go to the website of Bodhi Meditation College, it's in the publications. It is the Spirit Grounding. It's really only for those who need to watch it. So how do you know if you need it or not? The introduction of the text below lists a few phenomena. If you encounter this phenomenon, it's very likely your soul is lost or scared away, or evil invasion has occurred. So spirit grounding is payable, it's not free. Grandmaster charges a fee because he is compassionate. Because once you spend the money, you will just listen to it attentively. once,
而不是反反
instead of
复复
listening
地
to it
听，或者是给
repeatedly
不需要
or
的
giving
人
it to
那样
people who don't
并
need
不
it.
能够得到很大的帮助
That
啊。
way,
第一，真
it
正
will
被
not be
需
of
要的
much
人
help.
第二就
First,
听
it's
一
for
次，
those who
如
truly
果
need it,
真的
and
还需要
secondly, listen
再
to it
需要
just
的话，要
once.
45
If you
天之
still
内
truly
再来
need it,
听啊，
you
再
can
来
come back
看。
after 45
45
days.
天之后，对对对，45天之内就不
It's
要有
only
这样的
after
期望。
45 days
对
later that you should come
这
back
样
to
的
it.
哈，我们在网站上都写的非常的清晰。
So it's all
真有
stated
需要的
on the
人就先
website.
上去。
Everything
我们
is
收费的原因
clearly
就是说
written.
不是
It's
希望
only
你
for
多花
people
钱
who
和
truly
赚这个
need it.
钱，就是希望你不要多看，
The reason why we charge is
多
because
看
we
了
do not want
并
you
不是那么
to
好
watch it
啊
too
真
much.
需要
Watching too
看一
much
遍，
is not that good
有
either.
必要
If you
看第
truly
二
need
遍
it, just
45
watch
天
it
之后，
once. There's
对
no
你
need to
还要
watch
懂
it a
得。
second time
对，
within 45 days.
看还有好故事吗？
其实还有很多呀。
Do we have any more good stories?
好，
Actually, there are
再
many
跟
more.
师傅分享一个落
Okay,
上
let
的
us
听
share
到的
another
事情。
story with
他的他
Grandmaster.
写给师傅学习地藏经的收获。
好，
好。他说：“
She
师傅
wrote to
好，
Master
我
about
是
the
坤开，
benefits of
来
studying
自
the
洛
Earth
杉矶
Store
陈塘。
Sutra.
师傅的真诚学习地藏经
Grandmaster,
的
I'm
直播
Kun
课
Kai
程让我受益很多。
from
我
Los
的父亲
Angeles.
在几年前离世，当时我点了49天的超荐灯，
Grandmaster's
念
class
了
of
49
sincere
天
learning
的
of the
药师
Earth
经
Store
回向
Sutra
来
has
佛经。
benefited me a
记得
lot.
在念完
My
之后
father
的那
passed
几
away a
天，
few years
感
ago.
觉
At
看
the
到自
time,
己
I
很
offered
轻
light for
松，
him for
容光
49
焕
days.
发，面
I
带笑
chanted the
容地
Medicine
向我走
Buddha
来，背
Sutra
后
for
是一
49
片
days
阳
for
光
my
灿烂。
father.
当
Few
时就
days
觉得
after
父
that,
亲是很高
I
兴的，
felt like
来
I
向
saw
我
my
道别。
father feeling
而
very
在这次
relaxed.
学习班
He came
的前
towards
一
me
两
with
周，
a
我
radiant
又梦到
face
了
and
师，
smile.
又梦到了父
Behind
亲。
him was a bright
梦里感
sunshine.
觉他的
At
身
that
体不
moment,
太好，
I felt my
周
father
围
was
也
very
是很
happy.
阴暗
He
的。
came to say
当时
goodbye
有
to
种
me.
想法，
In the
是不
weeks
是父
leading
亲
up to
掉
the
下去
class,
了？
I dreamt
所
of
以
my
我就
father
赶
again.
紧为父
In
亲
the
供
dreams, he
灯做
seems to be
功
in
德。
poor health,
通过这
and the
次的学
surroundings were
习，我
dim.
明白
I
了，
thought
要不
maybe
断
my
地为自
father
己
has
亲
fallen
人的
down.
祖先做
So I
功德。
quickly offered a
首
light for
先
him to
是要帮
accumulate
助他们不
merits.
再掉入
Through this
恶道，
experience, I
其
came to
次也是
understand
我
the
们后人
importance of
对祖先的
continuously
一份
accumulating
尊敬
merits
和效
for our
仿。
loved ones and our ancestors.
最关键的
This
是，
serves to
如
help
果
them
我
to
们的
avoid
祖先
negative
父母
paths.
在地狱
It
中
also
受苦，
reflects
我
our
们作为
respect
后
and
代的
filial
子孙
piety
是无
towards
法
our
在现实生
ancestors,
活中真正
benefiting
获得
both
自
for
在
them
快
and our
乐的。
descendants.
我感触很大的一
The
点，
most crucial
一点
part is
就
that
是
our
师傅
ancestors
指导
and
我
parents
们
suffer in
做供
hell.
养的程度和发心。
We,
比
as their
如说，
descendants,
婆
cannot
罗门
truly
女和
attain
光目女
contentment and
两种供
happiness in
养的
our
程
real
度不
lives.
同，导
What
致了
struck
他
me
们的
deeply
亲
is that
人所获
Grandmaster
得
guides
超度的
us
就不同。
in the terms
这
of
些
level of
细节，
offerings and
如果我们自己
dedication.
读经是
For
根本无
example, the
法体
offerings
会
made
到
by
的，
the
而师傅在这里
Brahmin
都为我们点了出
women
来。
with bright eyes
大
differ,
供养、大发心，亲人就可以直接上到
very,
极乐世
leading
界
to
去。
various
小供养、小
degrees
发
of
心，
salvation
那
for
亲
their
人只
respective
能
loved
到善
ones.
处，
These
时间
details
久
are
了
something
还
we
有可
can't
能会往
comprehend
下，
just
或者
by
要
reading
受
the
其他
sutra
的苦难。
ourselves.
这些细节非常重要，但又非常
Grandmaster
不容易
points them
遇
out
到。
here
非常感恩
with
师傅
a
的提醒。
substantial offering and
我还有
profound
一个很
dedication.
大的感触，就是师
Our
傅
loved
教我
ones
们
can
如何
directly
回
ascend
向
to the
以
Pure
及回
Land.
向的意义。
With a minor
通过师傅
offering
解
and
说，我
dedication,
才
they
知
may
道
end up
回
in
向不光是
favorable
口
place
头上说
initially,
说
but
而已，
over time,
其实是
there's a
佛陀
possibility
教
of
导我们
regression
发
or
菩提心
experiencing
的
other
方
forms
式。
of
我
suffering.
们不只将
These
功德回向
details
给
are
自己的亲
immensely
人，而且要
important
回
and
向
yet
给
not
法界
easily
众生和全
realized.
宇宙。
I'm
如
truly
果每
grateful
天
for
都住在这
Grandmaster's
种逆论
reminders.
中，
Another
那怎么会不
realization
成
I
就
had
呢？
is
师
how
傅把这一
Grandmaster
点道
teaches
破之
us the
后，我
concept
觉得
of
对修行
dedication
有
and its
太大的帮
significance.
助了。
Through
能够跟
Grandmaster's
随师傅，
explanation,
真正
I've
的
come to
像这
understand
种
that
领悟式的
dedication
去
is
学
not
习，
merely
对我们
verbal
的帮助是
expression.
多么大
It's
呀！
actually a
恭敬
way
感
that
恩
the
师傅，
Buddha
带
instructs
领我们
us to
学习这
cultivate
部
the
珍贵的
Bodhisattva.
宝典。
We not only dedicate merits to our own relatives, but also for all sentient beings of the Dharma realm and the entire universe. If we constantly maintain this mindset, how can we not achieve success? But after Master has pointed this out, I find it incredibly beneficial for my practice, being able to follow Grandmaster to genuinely learn about this profound insight and tremendously helpful for us. I'm truly grateful and appreciate Grandmaster for guiding us to study this precious sutra.
对，然后那往生的亲人得大解脱，那小供养的话，那可能只是小解脱。
对，这个理解完全正确。是吧？你不管哪怕人命关天的事情，对不对？
She's indeed applied Grandmaster's teaching in her old lives. Initially, when her father passed away, she thought her father's rebirth was quite favorable. However, she recently became a bit concerned that her father has fallen down and started to do more good deeds, because she knows that the major offering results in significant merits, and the deceased relatives will attain great liberation. So this understanding is accurate. Let's say a life and death situation arises, a child is critically ill or the elderly person person is passing away. And in such cases, you can offer only 3 sticks of incense and an apple, expecting to save the life and rescue someone from hell. The likelihood is not high, right? So for instance, if you are wealthy and living in a luxurious mansion and driving a fancy car, you only light 3 sticks of incense. The potential effectiveness is diminished. There might not be anyone to help you because they have shown any sincerity, right? When Buddhism guides everyone, it's a comprehensive transformation. Buddhism encourages you to cultivate a heart of kindness. It is essential to translate it into benevolent actions. Through actions, you develop a great impression, a deep impression for compassion and goodness. This process inclines to you not liking kindness and eventually become kind-hearted yourself. This is how you derive benefits. She also mentioned another point about dedication. Normally, when people dedicate merits, they may just say a couple of sentences without heartfelt sincerity. But as Grandmaster explained, your dedication is in fact cultivating of the Bodhisattva. So it's the entire Dharma realm and the entire universe, not just for yourself. There's a difference between a Buddha and an ordinary person. Ordinary person tends to use various methods to fulfill their own desires. Meanwhile, Buddha, Bodhisattvas, and those who cultivate great goodness work for benefit of others, society, and all beings. This is their difference. So Sister Kun Kai's understanding is quite accurate, and it represents the understanding of many of our online friends. We are truly grateful for Master's explanation of the Earth Store Sutra. So I'm giving you this bead. This bead symbolizes the wish for everyone who wears it, including senior Sister Kun Kai, to achieve their aspirations. Good luck and prosperity. May you live a long life. So Sister Fang Chan, we hasn't given her one yet. So let's give her a bead.
祝福是方灿是吧？哈，方灿和怡宝禅堂的佩戴珠子的人哈。
So, blessings to Fang Chan and those wearing beads at Ipoh Meditation Center. May you live a long life and healthy life filled with good fortune and auspiciousness. So today is the auspicious day of completion of our class. It is evening in Vancouver, around 8 p.m. After the auspicious completion of our class, I will assist all of you by helping to realize your wishes. Additionally, regarding any karmic debts or unresolved matters with your relatives or others, I'll do my best to guide them, to help them depart, and to ensure that they have a favorable rebirth, transferring to the virtuous realm, to transcend to the pure land of the eastern lapis lazuli, and transcend to the blissful world of the western pure land. All are blessed by Buddha and Bodhisattvas. May all your wishes be fulfilled and resolved. At the very least, we will earnestly work towards them. After the completion, we'll do this. So the title of our live stream is One Move to Attain Liberation. Our online friends have been awakening and learning from you. So Grandmaster, the entire Earth Store Sutra, many of them realize that this one move truly is. It's about making offerings, accumulating merits. There's no other way around it. This method appears to be so practical and steadfast. That's not about taking shortcuts or being cunning. So it's like having a foundation of deep merits. Your house will be sturdy for hundreds, thousands, or even 10,000s of years. Without such a foundation, even a simple cottage would collapse due to the minor earthquakes or floods, and even like those buildings that can withstand magnitude 7 to 8 earthquakes. Modern buildings with strong foundation and sturdy pillars, the same principle applies. If you want to withstand disasters, we need the foundation. And the most critical practice for that foundation is making offerings, accumulating merits. Yes, that's it. Remember,
你只要
All right,
跟
everyone
班
in this
1天
class,
以上的
as long as you have been in the class for 1 day or
我也
more,
相信都会获得
I also believe that you'll receive the
地
care
藏菩
and
萨对
protection
你的关
of
爱
the Bodhisattva,
护佑
Kisiti
如
Gaba.
果达到
I also
7天的
believe
哈
that you will receive the
这个我
care and
相信的
protection.
能够消除我们很多事
If you
的
complete 7
超过
days, I believe you
100
can
世的
eliminate the
100
negative
世
energy
100
and
世
the
的
negative
罪
karma
业
for many lifetimes,
让你这一生一定是如意吉
over
祥
100 lifetimes.
心想事成
100
全
lifetimes
家
of
人都会幸
negative
福快
karma.
乐
May your whole life be
那
filled
我
with
们的
good
班就
fortune
到
and
此圆满了
auspiciousness.
哈
May all your dreams come true. May your whole family be happy and blessed. Alright, our class is now complete. Gratitude to Grandmaster.
生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真理，修行的理。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。我快乐了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，